Welcome to ESPN's coverage of college football, presented by Cars.com. Today from Death Valley, undefeated Clemson, enjoying its best start in over a decade, looks to go 8-0, hosting North Carolina. The Tigers, one of 10 undefeated teams left, thanks to several second-half comebacks. And they're back home after their second-largest comeback, knocking off the Maryland Terrapins. Dave Pash, Chris Spielman, Urban Meyer were underway from Clemson, South Carolina. And a short kickoff fielded by Brown, who crosses the 25 and down at the 27-yard line. Our impact players are brought to you by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Bryn Renner is third in the country in completion percentage, 7th in the nation in pass efficiency.
Yeah, Ryan Houston will take some of the carries off the injured Giovanni Bernard, although we do expect to see Bernard today.
Clemson defensive end Andre Branch, 6'5", 260. Clemson will need him to get pressure on North Carolina quarterback Renner.
And Chris, you mentioned Houston. He's a guy that's played a lot, missed last year, got caught up in the scandal of North Carolina, missed the entire season, but had 17 touchdowns in 08 and 09, and he'll get it here on first down, straight ahead for about 3. It's Carrico Hawkins on the stop. Bernard missed practice on Tuesday and Wednesday with a hip injury. Renner missed practice on Tuesday with a right ankle problem. His foot was in a boot, but he returned to practice on Wednesday. Bernard did not, so the coach is not starting Bernard because he missed too much practice time. Second down and 6 for North Carolina. Tar Heels are 5-2. Movement on the offensive line by UNC.
Full start. Number 73 on the offense. 5 yards. Second down.
That's the right tackle, Brennan Williams.
Look, 65, Cam Holland was making an adjustment, turned to the tackle and yelled to him, which I think he's mistaken for the cadence, and that's why he jumped a little bit.
Holland had missed the last couple of games at center, but he's back out there. Had a back injury. Don't know if that's impacting that at all. In terms of just not being out there with his right tackle, as Renner goes downfield. And it's broken up by Jonathan Meeks, who actually had a better chance to catch it than the wide receiver, Eric Highsmith. Third down and long.
Miscommunication. Highsmith ran to the corner. Renner threw it to the middle of the field. I'm telling you, if he had Highsmith and thrown the 7-cut or the flag route, Urban, he had him open. Like the play action, no question.
The one thing about North Carolina, Chris, too, they're loaded. They got a lot of depth. You hear the coaches, they have 5 tight ends. To be able to lose their star tailback and have a quality player like Houston step right in, they've recruited well the last few years.
Third down and 11, and Renner off play action. And he's going downfield again, where it's picked off by Jonathan Meeks. Meeks' second interception of the year, and he takes it back to the Carolina 38-yard line.
North Carolina tried to stutter and go with the receiver. A little bit of pressure, he steps up in the pocket. You just can't float the ball down the middle of the field. The receiver tried to stutter in and took it down the field.
And you have to recognize, too, if that ball hangs in the air in a too high or too deep look, it will get picked off. A very good read by the safety coming over the top for Clemson and Meeks.
So now Taj Boyd going to work for Clemson. He'll throw on first down. And there's Watkins with the catch. Our impact players brought to you by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Boyd has had an outstanding year with 19 touchdown passes, only 3 INTs.
Want to get Sammy Watkins involved in the game, get Dwayne Allen involved early.
Allen, an outstanding tight end. Watkins had the catch on first down, his 47th reception. And now here's Boyd on a quarterback run, and he's close to the first down at the 28-yard line.
Clemson's do-it-all player, Sammy Watkins, is a true freshman. He's arguably the top offensive player in college football.
overall, not just freshmen.
I'll tell you what, you watch him on film, you see the impact from carrying the ball. And the one thing, remember, Dabo Swinney said he has the best arm on the team. So look for him for a trick play some play today.
See if Clemson can pick up a 3rd down and 1 here. It's Boyd, and he's got it to the 26-yard line. Brought down there by Tim Scott and Tydreek Powell. 1st down, Clemson.
We all know the efficiency of Clemson's offense. That's why they're undefeated, mainly because of a strong offense. When Taj Boyd becomes a threat to run the football, that even puts more pressure on the defense, because now you have to defend 5 guys.
And now Boyd to throw here. And a screen to the tight end Allen. He couldn't hang on to it, and then took a shot from Zach Brown. It's incomplete. They'll look to get Dwayne Allen involved in a lot of ways. 27 catches this year and 4 touchdowns.
You know, speaking with the North Carolina coaches and head coach Everett Withers, he said you'll see very little man coverage because of the threat of jet sweep. So it's going to be hard for them to isolate guys like Sammy Watkins, because in North Carolina, you're not going to see man-to-man today, Chris.
Yep. They'll have the hitch or the short pass to Watkins anytime they want it.
Here's a jet sweep. And it's Mike Bellamy brought down for a loss. Good play by Charles Brown. Not fooled. Made the tackle. A setback of about 3 or 4 yards.
You know, when Sammy Watkins can run it, he can throw it, he can catch it. The one thing he needs to improve on is blocking right there. Charles Brown just whipped him one-on-one in the open field.
And a veteran play by Brown, senior from Cleveland, Ohio. 3rd down and 12 for Clemson at the 28-yard line of North Carolina. Boyd had his arm hit and still completes it to Hopkins, and it's right at the 1st down marker. He appears to have it. Boyd's arm was hit, but the North Carolina pass rusher ran right by him.
You see Hopkins right here, pushed the route past the sticks and worked himself back to the football to close the distance. Look at the strength of Boyd being able to hold on to the ball with 2 hands so the ball is knocked out of there. That's fundamental football, well-coached football, and executing under pressure.
That's a great job. They can tell you that Clemson offense is well coached.
Handoff on 1st down, no running room for Andre Ellington. How about the improvement of Taj Boyd, the quarterback? He's a guy that didn't play a whole lot last year, just 7 games. And then this year, even at the start of the year, he didn't look that great. But we saw him against Auburn come alive in the 2nd half and take over that football team.
So when the light bulb goes on, it goes on. And the more success you have, the more confidence you have. And you see a very confident player, number 10, Taj Boyd.
And Boyd going to throw here. And down he goes. He gets walloped back at the 23-yard line. Zach Brown gets the sack.
Well, man coverage with pressure showed up, Urban. Again,
that's just a mistake by Clemson.
Yeah.
That's an unblocked defender. That's either you have 2 choices. You have to either get rid of the ball fast, or there's got to be some hot adjustment by the receiver. They're bringing 1 more than Clemson could protect.
I don't think Taj Boyd saw the man coverage. His eyes got distracted by the blitzing on-block player of North Carolina.
They picked up a 3rd and 12 earlier on this possession. This is 3rd and 18. And Boyd, middle of the field, incomplete. Now there was contact as Watkins was held up by Tim Scott, but no flag. It's 4th down, and Clemson will bring in the field goal team.
This is almost a forced pass right here. It's a 2-deep look, and you're seeing Watkins try to work the seam. They're going to go ahead and take him on a stutter and go. But you see over the top, you had Jerron Brown wide open on the corner, matched up with the safety. If we throw it to the back pylon, that was the open receiver. That was a poor read by Taj Boyd.
Chandler Catanzaro is 12 of 14 on the year, as long as 47. This is a 39-yard try. So Clemson able to get points off the Renner interception. His first INT in 83 consecutive passes, but it only cost the Tar Heels 3 points. Clemson with 3 points after a North Carolina interception. Just the 7th of the year for Bryn Renner in his first in 4 games. Jonathan Meeks picked it off. And then Catanzaro with a 39-yard field goal. He'll kick off from the 30-yard line. Charles Brown, the deep man, short kickoff. And Brown across the 30-yard line out near the 35 as we go to the studio.
Hello, Dave. I want to get your finger on the pulse of everything going on over on ESPN2. After falling from the ranks of the unbeaten last week, Illinois is on the road at Ross-Ade Stadium. It's early going there and scoreless. And Kentucky, which has lost 4 in a row, they have the 3rd worst scoring defense in the country against a powerhouse team from the FCS in Jacksonville State. That's on ESPNU.
And Reese here, it's 3-0. North Carolina's second offensive possession. First down at the Tar Heel 35. Ryan Houston remains in the game at tailback. Their starting fullback, Bird, is out for this game. And Houston running behind Kenny Owens. The number 2 fullback picks up 5 yards. Dave Pasch, Urban Meyer, Chris Spielman. Clemson, 7th in the initial BCS standings, tied for the highest ever. So how do they handle now all the expectations that go with that?
Any conversation about championships in August and September, that's nonsense. Now you can start having that conversation. Keep your team focused. How do you keep your team focused? Go as hard as you can, make it hard on them, and just worry about the next day.
Here's Houston again, and he spun down a yard short of the first down, so it's 3rd and 1.
Well, I think it's uncharted territory, and so what you have to do is keep selling what you've been selling, is that one game at a time. Now, it's a lot easier when you have that success. You can sell the one game at a time, but it's tough to keep your players from looking and reading the papers of the BCS standings. Dabo does a good job of keeping them humble and in the moment.
North Carolina trying to quiet the crowd here by getting a first down. They need a yard. And it's Houston, and he's not going to get that yard. In fact, he'll lose one. Andre Branch tracking him down from behind.
You see backup center, they're using him as a fullback, Bodine. Because of the injury they have in the fullback position, trying to get a lot of meat front side. Clemson does a great job penetrating and keeping them short of the first down. That's a win for Clemson on a short yardage against North Carolina. That's one of the biggest offensive lines in the country, North Carolina.
It's also a good pre-snap read for the defense. Getting a pretty good guess that's where the ball is going to go, and they guessed right.
True freshman Thomas Hibbert punting it away to DeAndre Hopkins. And fair caught at the 17-yard line. 2 different offenses that we're going to see on the field today.
Well, one's a proactive, and when you play with a tight end, play with a fullback, you can force the defense to react to your multiple formations. That's North Carolina. Clemson, you're going to see a spread set without tight ends. And now in that spread set, you're going to try to get the perfect play on, reacting to what kind of defense you're going to see in North Carolina. 2 very distinctly different styles of offenses you're going to see today.
And with the proactive, you just use a bunch of formations and try to get them to miss a line. And the reactive, like Clemson, that's why you'll see them look to Chad Morris, the offensive coordinator.
Here's Boyd throwing on first down, and the second catch of the day for Watkins, 48 on the year. So running the spread then is more difficult because you've got to adjust to what you're seeing defensively, or no?
No, it's not more difficult. It's just a completely different style. It's more on the coordinator. North Carolina can call a play. Clemson, you're going to have to react, and that's why you see a lot of check with me's where the quarterback's going to check at the line of scrimmage and see what kind of defense they're playing.
Pop pass that's nearly intercepted. The middle linebacker, Kevin Reddick, who's healthy now. He battled an ankle injury earlier in the season. Got a hand on it. It's 3rd and 4.
You know, the comment Chris and I made after watching the film on Friday, the North Carolina defense is very well coached. They're in position to make plays. The defensive coaches do a good job getting their players in position.
3rd and 4 for the Tigers, and Boyd to the air again, going for Watkins, but another play made by Charles Brown. Had a good play against the run on Clemson's last possession to stall a drive, and here gets in the way of Sammy Watkins and forces a punt.
And Charles Brown, I love it. He's not playing a man, he's playing a spot. He's trusting where the ball is going to be thrown. Watch him break to a spot and not to a man. When you're able to do that and get there simultaneously with the wide receiver, you're going to make a play. And that's well coached and understanding splits and understanding not breaking to the man, but breaking to the ball.
And now Brown will drop back as the punt return here. Zimmerman booting it away. And Brown in trouble. He did not signal for a fair catch. But North Carolina will have decent starting field position at the 37-yard line after a 42-yard punt by Zimmerman. 3-0 Clemson.
You're watching college football on ESPN, presented by Cars.com.
Back at Clemson, where it's 3-0. Tigers on top. Heisman hopefuls will be in the spotlight tonight on the ESPN networks on ABC at 8 Eastern. Landry Jones, number 3 Oklahoma, taking on Texas Tech. Andrew Luck, Stanford Cardinal, facing Washington. Do we have a Heisman candidate in this ball game? And Clemson true freshman Sammy Watkins. We'll see as the year progresses. Meanwhile, North Carolina starting at its 37, and Renner to pass, has a completion and able to stay in bounds, and then a flag. Penalty flag for a late hit by Stephon Anthony after the catch made by Reggie Wilkins, and a Carolina first down to the 48 of Clemson.
I love the play call by John Shue.
Dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 12 on the defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Reggie Wilkins is part of this game plan, as you're going to see the penalty and the late hit coming right there, which is a little iffy to me because he's making a play. That's tough. That's just good football, and I understand it, but you know, they're overprotective. But the point is, they want Reggie Wilkins matched up with safeties and linebackers. They feel like they can win that all the time. That's going to happen today. Number 81 is going to be involved in the offense.
So 30 yards on that play, including 15 for the penalty, as Renner pumps and goes end zone. Touchdown, North Carolina. Jeremy Boyd with his 3rd touchdown catch of the year. Could you see that coming after that penalty and where they were set up and getting up to the line quickly?
Always remember, one of the great things when an offense gets a plus yardage play, a first down in the red zone, the first thing you think about is taking that shot in the end zone. Let's take a look here. You catch Clemson in a split safety, too high, 2 safeties. The middle of the field is going to be wide open. North Carolina sells the corner route. Just poor play by the safety, Chris. The safety's coming way off the hash mark. There's no reason to be that wide when you're that close to the sideline.
Especially if there's nobody that's a threat down the field. And you got to understand splits. You saw right there, Jones was lined up outside. He's not going to run outside if he's lined up outside. He's going to run to the middle of the field. The safety has to understand those route progressions. But that's a good cover 2 beater when you overload that zone. 3 receivers versus 2 defenders low and 1 defender high.
Well, that's why the hash marks are there. I mean, that's for a fan at home, for a viewer to watch that. When you see 2 high safeties, the safety's got to be near the hash mark. That guy was Lewis was over by the numbers. You're leaving them in the center of the field wide open.
And Jeremy Boyd, just his 7th catch of the year, but 3rd for a touchdown. He had a touchdown last year against Clemson when Carolina won, and is considered the fastest player on the team for North Carolina. Sammy Watkins last week set a school record for all-purpose yards. He had a kick return for a touchdown.
You don't
Ball
kick it
fell
to
off
him,
the tee.
You kick it to him, Dave? I don't kick it to him.
Well, you'll see right now, Chris, they're stacking them. And you can see they might change which side he's going. The kicker doesn't know which way Sammy Watkins is right now.
So you pooch kick it high and force the front second line to make a fair catch.
And he's going to kick it deep, take his chances. Sammy Watkins at the 4-yard line. And Watkins throw a seam. Oh, good play at the 30-yard line. Otherwise, Watkins might still be running. It's Pete Mangum who takes down Watkins.
And that's one guy making a tackle on a kickoff coverage. You do not kick it to him, because I'm telling you right here, if he busts through this, right there, it's out to the gate, and they're dancing in the end zone.
And that's well blocked, too. He's untouched. That's the safety from the backside. I'm with Chris. You need to sky kick that, squib it, keep it out of number 2's hands, man.
Clemson with good field position on its 32. Here's a run play to Ellington, and he powers past the 35. Good to see Andre Ellington healthy. Clemson last year was 6-7, and one of the reasons they struggled last year was because Ellington missed the final 6 games with a toe injury. He had 12 touchdowns the first 7 games last year. Off to a great start this year with 212 rushing yards a week ago. And Boyd throwing. The receiver Hopkins fell down and still made the catch for a first down and a gain of 12 yards.
That's Taj Boyd trusting his player to make a play. Hopkins not giving up on the play.
A pitch to Ellington on first down with a blocker in front. Penalty flag down though, thrown at the feet of an offensive player, Dwight Allen. So it's going to be coming back here. Or Dwayne Allen, excuse me.
Holding. Number 83 on the offense. 10 yards, spot of the foul.
Clemson does have indicators, guys. Indicators are pre-snap reads for North Carolina defense. When Chad Deal, number 30, comes in the ball game, follow him because he will take you to the football. That time Deal was in there as a lead blocker. That's the exact play. So if you're North Carolina's defense, you see 30 in there, pretty good chance the ball's going behind him.
So it's 1st and 20 at the Clemson 39.
Big screen down in this type of situation.
Boyd gets hit as he throws deep. Wide open is Watkins. He would have walked in. Instead, the pass was overthrown, incomplete.
Clemson calls a quarter roll. Taj Boyd rolls to his right. Little stutter and go by Sammy Watkins. Once again, I love this Clemson offense. Every play, they're putting pressure on the defense. The play before, they ran a mini huddle and came up with the line of scrimmage fast and pitched the ball. There they quarter rolled and try to throw back to the best player on Clemson's team, Sammy Watkins.
Here's Boyd on 2nd and 10. Going to throw again. And Boyd going for Hopkins in the middle of the field to the Carolina 35-yard line. It's a 26-yard gain. Trey Boston on the stop.
Yeah, North Carolina's running a 2-fire zone. That's a zone blitz, but with 2 coverage, and the weakness of the area of the field is the middle of the field. They recognize that from the previous series. Now they go and call the same play against that type of defense, and they know that the middle of the field is where to throw.
Here's Sammy Watkins here in the backfield.
Boyd to throw again, and overthrew Hopkins that time, incomplete. They're trying to get Sammy Watkins involved any way, shape, or form, and got to imagine at some point we're going to see him get a handoff, right? When you show that look of him in the backfield.
No question. And also remember when we asked Chad Morris that list your playmakers 1 through 5. The first guy he mentioned though was Dwayne Allen. And we've not seen Dwayne Allen real involved in the offense yet. So look for him to get real involved right now.
They threw that tight end screen to Allen. It was incomplete. But that's it so far. And Boyd didn't even get the handoff because Zach Brown was in the backfield on the snap. And that's the 2nd tackle for a loss by Zach Brown.
I think he misread it. I think it's a run. He misread it. It's a zone read play, and that's where he's got to give the football to the running back. Now he sees it from the backside.
That's how you give North Carolina credit. They're ready for this offense so far.
They're coming after him, too.
So it's 3rd down and 16 at the North Carolina 41. Seen a lot of negative plays so far by Clemson.
And showing man coverage here on defense. Looks like a blitz look. Taj Boyd just got his check from Chad Morris.
And here come the Tar Heels again. And Boyd out in the flat to Watkins, but no way they're going to get the first down. It's a gain of maybe 3, but it's 4th down and long.
This is a 6-man, no deep pressure, means no help. Watch the corners bump it off on the screen. So far, we've seen Carolina doing a great job getting their players in position to make plays. That was a no deep coverage for them to bump off on the screen, Chris. That's hard to get done now.
And it's a long way to go for Brandon Thomas, the left guard, to get out there and block a nickel back in space, which nickelback was the man who made the tackle in Boston, number 10.
So they're going to punt from here. It would be about a 55-yard field goal. 2nd time Clemson's been inside the Carolina 40 with 3 points now to show for it. Zimmerman going to try to pin the Tar Heels deep. Brown waves it off and checks up. And by the time Clemson gets to it, it's at the 17-yard line. So Carolina ball with a 7-3 lead when we come back to Clemson.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Cars.com, where confidence comes standard. And in part by new Dr. Pepper 10. 10 calories, 23 flavors. It's not for women.
Beautiful late October day in South Carolina. Temperature expected to reach around 70 today. And the team wearing blue with the lead right now. North Carolina on top 7-3. A 33-yard Renner. And the first appearance for Giovanni Bernard at running back. 5 straight games, over 100 yards rushing. Missed practice time this week with a hip injury, so he did not start. From the Tar Heel 17-yard line. And a penalty flag.
Delay of game. Offense. Number 2. 5 yards. Still first down.
Boy, how does that happen out of a timeout?
Because you sideline huddle when you don't need a sideline huddle. Just get in the huddle, line up, and get up on the ball. Because North Carolina changes formations anyways. What are you doing?
Yeah, I kind of understand that. That's where they got to have some help in the press box, too. Telling the coaching staff to get them on the field fast.
So first and 15 now. And play fake. Renner kind of stumbled coming out of there. He's in trouble, and he gets rid of it. Incomplete. Pressure by Corey Crawford, a true freshman who was the #1 prep school prospect in the nation a year ago.
It's all about discipline right here. Don't fall for the pulling guys. Do your job. You're going to see him do his job right here on the bootleg. Not getting antsy, doing his job, staying outside contained, and forcing Renner to throw a bad ball. But that's all about discipline. That's all that is. Trust.
Here's Houston on 2nd and 15. And he's brought down after a gain of 2. Let's go to the studio and Reese.
David, Taco Bell studio update from the Big Ten. Illinois and Purdue's Caleb Turbush and the former quarterback Justin Siller. That finished a 91-yard drive, second longest of the season. Hey, Purdue can go into positive territory, plus 500 with a win here.
It's a 7-3 game here, Reese, with North Carolina on top, but a 3rd and 13 from the Tar Heel 14-yard line. Here comes pressure, and Renner in trouble. Renner able to get away from the defender, and now throws a pass that's knocked down, incomplete. It's Richard Hall with the deflection, and Corey Crawford again right in the face of the quarterback, Bryn Renner, almost got another sack.
Hard to believe North Carolina is going to leave a 6'5", 280 defensive end unblocked. That was just a missed assignment by North Carolina's offense.
Yeah, true freshman Corey Crawford. When you have a chance to make a play, make a great one. Don't get an almost play. Almost had him, coach. Well, if you would have had him, great field position or possibly a safety.
Or you got your punter in the back of the end zone. He's a true freshman. Instead, Hibbert still punting from his end zone. But wait, another penalty flag.
False start. Number 57 on the offense. 5 yards. Still fourth down.
Everett Withers, the interim head coach.
That was a tough drive for North Carolina. They started off with a delay of game coming from the sideline, and then a missed assignment, just flat turned the defensive end loose on a 3rd down. And then a procedure penalty on 4th down.
Hopkins is the deep man for Clemson. And a trio of Tar Heels surround them at the 48-yard line. And now our conference update brought to you by Dr. Pepper 10. Clemson on top of the Atlantic Division. How about Wake Forest and the job that Jim Grobe is doing there this year? Next week, Clemson will play the leader of the Coastal Division. That's Georgia Tech, although this division seems a little bit more wide open right now. North Carolina and Miami, 2 teams with talented players at the bottom of that division.
And Virginia with a big win over Georgia Tech last week.
Clemson in Carolina territory for the 3rd time. And here's Watkins And he's able to get to the 42-yard line for about 6 yards. They've targeted him now about 5 times.
Yeah, every series they start a play out with a hitch cut to Sammy Watkins, a short pass to him out in the flat because of the corners playing soft, which is fine. That's North Carolina's plan. Keep everything in front of them. 3 series in a row. First play, Sammy Watkins.
That's 4 catches now for Watkins, giving him 50 on the year already. And Boyd goes to the other side of the field to his other speedy receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, who has a first down to the 35-yard line.
Okay, this is a read play, triple option by Clemson. They're going to read the defensive end. He came. His choice is to run or throw the screen out to the receiver. He saw numbers, which means he had 2 receivers, only 1 defensive back. Flipped the ball out there, a quick screen. Nice play call and even better execution by Clemson.
And Clemson has to call a timeout.
Second timeout.
But the Tigers on the move. Will they have their drive stalled again, though? Find out. Reese at 7-3, North Carolina. Despite the fact Clemson is running at 17 play in Carolina territory. No running room, though, for Ellington straight ahead. He gets clobbered by Sylvester Williams and Zach Brown. Brown has been in the backfield a lot early in this ball game, the leading tackler for North Carolina. You guys watched film and said, hey, there are players on this Carolina team that, as you see Ellington shake it up, that a lot of other teams, even in the SEC, don't have.
Well, think about this. North Carolina had 5 players drafted off their defense a year ago, and to be able to throw another group out there that looks like this, Coach Charlie Strong Louisville said that's his good-looking team on defense that he's seen in a long time, including the SEC.
Louisville just played them a couple weeks ago.
Andre Ellington was shaken up after that hit.
Yep, so 2nd down and 10. And here's Watkins, who hands it off to Bellamy. How about that play? And Bellamy gets the first down.
This is the value of Sammy Watkins. Anytime he has the ball, he draws attention. And Bellamy's going to come from the inside. You see them following the lead blockers because they want to get the whole defense flowing with Sammy Watkins. A nice little counter.
Well, they got some weapons to work with on offense.
Oh, man.
Gain of 10, Bellamy, another true freshman. It's his 33rd attempt. They fake it to him here. Now Boyd finds a wide open Watkins at the 5-yard line. Breaks a tackle. It's Hopkins. He's in. Touchdown, DeAndre Hopkins. Was Hopkins down? Looks like it's going to be close. Did the ball cross the plane?
That's a touchdown to me.
And it doesn't look like they're going to stop it. Oh, wait, they just did before the snap.
Previous play is under further review. Ruling on the field is touchdown.
DeAndre Hopkins with 3 touchdowns already this season. He was wide open. 3 Tar Heels there, couldn't get him, and then the dive, and it looks like, at least from that angle, that he was just short.
Let's see here.
He's down there, but no, he's in, based on that replay. Yeah. First replay looked like maybe short, but
it just has to cross the front part of the goal line. True freshman right there, number 7, Tim Scott, got caught in no man's land. He was covering just dirt. When there was nobody threatening him short, what he has to do is kind of fade back to give some help to his safety. You can't expect your safety to help on the corner.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
4th touchdown catch for DeAndre Hopkins. And number 20 passing for Taj Boyd. Catanzaro makes it 10-7 Clemson.
That's number 7, Tim Scott. Corner, true freshman. Right here. Now what's happening is he's going to end up covering dirt right here. You can't ask this safety to come over here and take a receiver. Now take a look how this unfolds. See, number 7, Scotty's doing a good job. But look, stop. Stop it right there. But he was covering dirt right here when the threat is back there. If he does not have a threat in front of him, just drift back to give your safety some help over the top, because you can't ask your safety to help on a sideline route.
Well, Chris, you've said it all year. Allowing a receiver to release down the field without collision in them, that does nothing but hurt the safety. You got to help your safety out. How do you do that? Get depth and get your hands on the wide receiver.
But you have to have awareness, too. If you have nobody in zone coverage coming into your zone, grass and dirt never caught a ball. Receivers catch balls. Just gain some depth to help that safety out. But sometimes he's a true freshman, he's learning, but I just don't stand there. That's my point.
Clemson finally able to get a touchdown after 3 opportunities to start deep Carolina territory. Another short kickoff. Charles Brown for the Tar Heels. And again, Carolina will start around the 35 as we go to Reese in the studio.
All right, guys, you know, Oklahoma State hitting the road against Missouri. A Missouri team that's had close losses, but all of them have been on the road. But Brandon Whedon utilizing Michael Harrison early in this game. Couple of catches, that one for a wide open touchdown. Tigers have answered with a field goal at 7-3 in Columbia.
Meanwhile, Reese here, Matt Merletti, starting safety, is injured.
That's a tough loss. You're going to see Brown, as he returns to kick, will fall right on the back of his knees. Right there. See that? Ooh. And that's a tough deal. And there's nothing you can do about it. As a football player, you have no chance to defend yourself. Then as a coach, I'm thinking, all right, I'm sorry he's hurt, but I got to think of what's next. Who's my next safety in? And get the assistant coach. I don't know if this is how it works. This is how I would assume it would work. Get the assistant coach on the headsets, get the safety in there, tell him what we're doing, his backup, and where we're going. It's good to see that he's getting off the field a little shaken. He's a tough little player.
While we have a moment, let's talk about the job that Everett Withers has done here, given the circumstances. Taking over for Butch Davis in July when Davis was relieved of his duties. Withers is named interim coach. Carolina is 1 win away from being bowl eligible again. And you see the talent, and obviously Withers was a part of that. He's been on the staff as the defensive coordinator. Well thought of around the country.
Well, you have to give his staff credit as well. Getting that staff aligned in such a short time. There's a lot of egos involved on coaching staffs a lot of times.
First down on the Carolina 34, and Renner stepping up, and a shoelace grab by Dwight Jones, who picks up the first down. An effort play out to the 48 for 14 yards.
Just a little crossing route by Dwight Jones. Separates from man coverage, pushes upfield. That's a 6'4", 225 athlete reaching down and catching a low ball and getting north and south after the catch. He's their go-to guy. 46 catches on the year. And
averages close to 100 yards receiving per game, 8 touchdowns. That's tied with Sammy Watkins for 3rd most in the country. First down at the Carolina 48. Renner throwing again. It's Ebron as tight end. It's another Tar Heel first down inside the Clemson 40.
Anytime they go empty, it's matchup. What they're doing is they're running an option route off the number 3 wide receiver. Right there, you have Ebron, the tight end, matched up on a linebacker, Willard, and it's no matchup. So they're going to go to that all day. Whenever they need a quick 5, go to empty, forces Clemson into a zone, coach.
And the great thing North Carolina's doing, they're going from 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends to an extra offense lineman. Next snap, they're in empty and running stick route, or like Chris said, a little option route. So they're trying to keep them off balance, and they're doing a good job so far.
They're moving the football already. They have a touchdown. They trail, though, in this football game 10-7 to Clemson after 1 quarter of play. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. From Clemson, South Carolina, North Carolina down 10-7. Here are the self-imposed penalties by the Tar Heels, including loss of scholarships over the next 3 years. No postseason ban, although it's possible that could change. More on that in just a moment. North Carolina with the ball at the Clemson 37. Renner to throw. Over the middle, it's knocked down by Jonathan Meeks, incomplete, intended for Highsmith. The reason it could change is on October 28th, there's an NCAA hearing. They'll listen to Carolina talk about the charges of the 9 major allegations and the Carolina self-imposed penalties. Now, there's a good chance they may not even know until after the bowl game what those penalties are, so it may not affect this year's team in the end in terms of postseason.
There's that empty set again, the matchups that they like to get on linebackers.
2nd and 10, Renner in trouble, and it's caught short of a first down. It's pulled in by Ebron. What's your thoughts on the vacating of wins? No wins in 08 and 09 officially now for North Carolina.
I've always had a problem with that because punishment is to deter behavior. Vacating wins has 0 impact on a program. To say we're going to vacate wins, once again, the punishment has to deter behavior. Does that punishment stop North Carolina from doing that kind of future behavior? Absolutely not.
3rd down and 5 for Carolina at the Clemson 31. Renner to the air. And Renner's pass caught, but nowhere to run. Down at the 31-yard line is Highsmith. Jonathan Meeks has been all over the field for Clemson.
First of all, you got to trust your feet and run this to get the first down. If you're throwing a soft pass up there and you have Meeks playing what they call a little bit of a matchup zone, where there's no threat over the top for Meeks. Andre Ellington being helped off with a left ankle injury. Meeks is coming up, helping that linebacker on those little option routes or man coverage routes. Now here's your hard count. Look for empty and Ebron number 85, where they've had success running the option route. He's matched up with a linebacker right here.
Clemson trying to stop Carolina. 4th and 4. It's caught, first down and more. And it's Wilkins, just his 3rd catch of the year, makes a huge play and a gain of about 16.
They clear out the number 1 receiver on the outside and run a little out cut with number 2. Excellent call against a 2-deep structure, which they catch Clemson in.
And that was a true freshman Anthony playing linebacker, and you'll take that matchup. Irvin talked about a proactive offense. Your formations dictate what defense you're doing, and that's what Shoup is doing. Putting the receivers out there against linebackers is no matchup for North Carolina. They handled all day.
The first carry of the day for Bernard, and there's a penalty flag down. Bernard with 27 rushes last week and 76 over the last 3 games. But because he was injured, did not practice a couple days.
Holding. Number 71 on the offense. 10 yards, repeat first down.
That's Carl Gaskins, the right tackle. But again, because of the injury, Bernard not getting a lot of touches so far in the game.
Now, what you have to do to counter what we talked about in a proactive offense when you're getting those matchup problems, if you have a dime package, that 6 defensive backs should go with that. If not, then you come with your nickel package, which they're doing right now, where they have 5 defensive backs that kind of help yourself athletically with the matchup problems that North Carolina is creating for Clemson. They're in their nickel. This is your nickel back right there.
And Renner calls timeout. So 2 timeouts remaining on each side.
North Carolina.
ESPN College Football is streaming live on your computer, tablet, or smartphone via WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app.
North Carolina picks up a 4th down and 4. They've only attempted 3 field goals all year. Now they have a 1st and 20 after a 10-yard penalty and go empty from the Clemson 24 as they motion Bernard to the right side of the formation. And Renner to throw, in trouble, and Renner now will take off and brought down at the ankles at the 17-yard line by Brandon Thompson. It's a good pickup of about 7 yards there on first down.
And don't forget, Renner has been a little hampered by an ankle injury. Although I don't think Brandon Thompson, if he was 100% running, was going to catch him. But a nice job of Brandon Thompson falling back and making a play, which would have been a lot more gained if Thompson doesn't fall back.
Of the last 12 plays, 11 were supposed to be passes, including that one, and ended up being a quarterback scramble. Here's Bernard on 2nd and 13. Down the middle to about the 12 for 5 yards. Tripped up by Malachi Goodman.
You made a mention about 11 of the last 12 have been passes. You watch Gio Bernard hit this the last 2 carries he's had. He looks like something's wrong. He's not running the same tempo you saw on film. He's had 5 straight 100-yard games. He doesn't look like that the last 2 carries, and the coaches told us he's been banged up.
Carolina 0 for 4 on 3rd down. We mentioned they picked up a 4th down. This is 3rd and 8 from the 12-yard line of Clemson. Renner with time. Everybody covered. Now Renner gets rid of it complete. Jones makes one man miss, but stood up at about the 10. So 2 yards there. It's 4th down and 6. We mentioned Carolina's attempted only 3 field goals all year. And you almost have to here, even though your kicker's a redshirt freshman, Thomas Moore. The normal kicker, Casey Barth, is one of the best in the ACC, is out, and they're trying to get a medical redshirt for him because of a groin injury.
Now, a lot of times when you don't have confidence in your kicker, the one thing you alert on the defensive side of the ball, alert fake, alert fake. That's just the paranoia and coming out at me, Coach.
Trace Jones is the holder. He's another kicker, so it's not like he's a quarterback there. 27-yard try. Moore is 1 of 2, as long as 20. And delay of game penalty here on North Carolina.
Delay of game. 14 on the offense. 5 yards. Still 4th down.
They tried to draw him off sides, first with a hard count by the holder, then some type of movement.
I'm not sure I've ever seen trying to draw someone off on a field.
It's the first time I've seen it. Yeah, I like it, though. A lot of times you'll do it with your lineman, Dave, starting out in a 2-point stance. Then they snap down in a 3-point stance and hope to get the defensive line to jump a little bit early.
I guess if you get him to jump, now it's 4th and 1, and you go for it. 32-yard attempt here for Thomas Moore. Snap was high, but Moore's kick is good. And we are tied at 10. Clemson, number 7 in the VCS standings, tying the highest ever going back to 2000. Boyd so far has a touchdown pass. DeAndre Hopkins has been the story, not Sammy Watkins so far. Renner has an interception, his first in 83 attempts, but he also has a touchdown pass to Jeremy Boyd. And Clemson coming into this game with a record of 7-0. They got to play Georgia Tech next week. They also have to play Wake, NC State, and South Carolina. That is a tough schedule. Auburn. So if they keep winning, they're going to be in the mix at the end of the year, right?
And because of that schedule, yes, because you play 2 SEC teams and 2 very good SEC teams. Here's a point I want to make. Do not kick the ball deep. Either pooch kick it to the up back. I'm telling you, because that last one was 1 little inch from going the distance. You want to keep the ball out of the hands of number 2. It's like kicking a Devin Hester for the Chicago Bears. Why do it?
They're going to kick it deep. And Watkins waiting for it on the 2-yard line. Here he goes. And no running room. Good coverage by Carolina. Let's go to Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, Dave, we're going to give you a Sports Center right now presented by Discover Card. Illinois, wasn't it just last week that Illinois, we were talking about it being undefeated? Purdue is destroying them. Caleb Turbush to Jared Crank, 21-0 in the 2nd quarter.
Wow. Team, as you mentioned, Reese, that looked great a couple weeks ago. They beat Arizona State, but now down 21-0 to Purdue. Here it's 10-10 early 2nd. Clemson is down a man on offense. A key guy. We'll tell you about that after this play as Boyd takes off here. And he's wrapped up and brought down after a gain of 2 by Sylvester Williams. Here's Quint with the latest on Andre Ellington.
Yeah, the Clemson running back injured the outside of his left ankle. He was retaped by Danny Poole, jogging back and forth from the sideline. Didn't like the way it felt, so he walked into the locker room under his own power. Comes out about 5 minutes later, and now for the 3rd time today, Danny Poole is taping his left ankle.
Well, he mentioned the toe injury last year that cost him 6 games. 2nd down and 7 for Clemson. Boyd rolling to his left, and a diving attempt by Watkins that is caught. That's the 5th reception for Sammy Watkins. It is a Clemson first down.
A true freshman. A lot of times Sammy Watkins stands above everybody else, not because of his physical abilities, but his mental abilities. He can take it from the meeting room, practice field to the game field.
Boyd has a completion and another first down. Here's Dwayne Allen. We know Dwayne Allen is going to be a high draft pick. What's really interesting in talking with scouts this week, they think that if Sammy Watkins were eligible, which he's not, he can't come out, then Watkins would be a first-round pick.
Imagine, I think Dabo Swinney said it best. It's like we got a big-time free agent right in the middle of August, and all of a sudden he steps in with the ability and the way he's playing the game right now. That's a good free agent, by the way, huh, Chris?
And here is Watkins on the jet sweep, but no running room. Pushed out of bounds. Loss of 3. It's Tim Scott, another true freshman. Fredericksburg, Virginia is where he is from. He made the play there on Watkins.
And they're going to have another play. We already saw their inside reverse with Bellamy, with Sammy Watkins getting the ball in a jet sweep look. They have something else off of that. They'll also have a throwback off of that, where they use him as play action.
2nd down and 12. They go empty here for Taj Boyd. And a pass behind another true freshman, Mike Bellamy, who's another talent on this Clemson roster. And it's 3rd and 12. Carolina's been able to get Clemson in 3rd and 10 plus a lot so far here in the first half. They did convert a 3rd and 12 earlier, though.
And that's why you have to stay patient if you're Carolina's defense. Understand they're going to complete balls and make plays. Just stay patient and keep them in front of you and prevent the big play.
Boyd with time, everybody covered. There goes Taj Boyd. And Boyd near the first down, right at the 42-yard line.
The threat of an athletic quarterback pulling the ball down to run keeps defenses out of man coverage, in zone. He doesn't do it often. When he does, he's a very efficient runner. You don't have to be lightning to cause defense problems as a quarterback. Be able to pull that down and run on a 3rd down. That'll keep defenses out of man coverage.
So 2nd time they've been able to convert on 3rd and 12. Boyd gets rid of it. A bullet to Hopkins, and then he takes on a defender showing no fear. A gain of 12 and a first down.
First of all, you see a nice route. Again, understanding cover 2. We have North Carolina's defenders covering 0 area. You have to play a matchup zone. Don't let a guy sit out there, in recognition by Boyd to deliver it.
Play fake for Boyd. Gonna go deep into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. Martavis Bryant. Taj Boyd with 21 touchdown passes now on the year. A 29-yard strike. Only a sophomore, first-year starting quarterback. That was a great throw, and it's 17-10 Clemson. And guess who he threw to? Another true freshman. But it wasn't Watkins, it wasn't Bellamy, it was Martavis Bryant. And Clemson back on top, 17-10.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Acura. Acura Advance and Discover Card. It pays to switch. It pays to discover.
30 years ago, Clemson won the national championship. Their last ACC championship was 20 years ago. They've never been in a BCS game. They played for the ACC title in 2009. They'd love to play for a BCS championship this year. Long way to go. But they're number 7 in the initial BCS standings as Charles Brown takes the kickoff return to the 24-yard line. All right, let's take a look back at our Liberty Mutual drive recap.
That's why a great tight end causes problems for defenses. Watch Dwayne Allen right here. He's going to occupy the safety. And when he occupies the safety, that leaves him on an island. Now take a look. As they run it, there's a safety being occupied by the tight end because he's such a threat. You leave Charles Brown alone on the island. He can't cover that guy all over the field. Now, Charles Brown, Urban didn't help himself because he got out of his back pedal too early. Knowing you don't have safety help, get off and don't give up the deep one. Give it up underneath.
But you're right. Dwayne Allen sets that whole thing up. It's pure one-on-one coverage out on the outside. That corner's got to play better technique than that.
From the Carolina 24, Renner to the air again, and it's batted down. Corey Crawford has had himself an outstanding first half. They have always had good defensive ends here. And it looks like Crawford's going to be another one. True freshman.
I love defensive ends with awareness, knowing they're not going to get there, recognizing a three-step drop, and getting a big paw up. Now, as an offensive tackle, you know what you do? You put your helmet right through his kneecaps. Watch those hands come down.
So violent, Chris.
Can't help it, sorry.
2nd and 10. Renner. And he'll take off. And he did get positive yardage. Brought down by Rennie Moore. Let's check in with Reese.
Dave, Oklahoma State on the road against Missouri, and the Tigers pretty good against the run, but they've given up big numbers to Landry Jones, Brock Osweiler, and now Brandon Whedon doing the same. Joseph Randall catches it. 3rd touchdown pass of the half for Whedon. Throw for 229. Pokes are rolling on the road.
Here it is 17-10. North Carolina trailing on the road. Faced with a 3rd down and long and 0 for 5 on 3rd down tries today. Renner steps up and gonna go deep. Oh my, Jones is wide open, but he can't catch up to it. He beat the safety, Jonathan Meeks, by about 10 yards, and Renner missed him.
This cluster look is giving them problems, Urban.
Holding on the 73 offense. On penalty decline. 4th down.
It's giving the safeties problems. They're getting nosy. Right down the middle of the field. He's going to occupy underneath. Take a look. Watch Jones. He's going to occupy. Little stutter. Little out and go. Safety bites. It's a lack of execution, but the cluster look is giving the secondary a little bit of issue. He can go.
Wouldn't have counted because of the holding, and now 4th down, and North Carolina has to punt.
They'll come back to it, though. They know it's open.
Hopkins backpedaling from his 25-yard line. And he gets grabbed at the shoulder pad and brought down by Zach Brown. No face mask. And Clemson football when we come back. Now for today's Aflac trivia question. Clemson has 10 plays of 50 yards or more this season, which is the only team with more. Any guesses?
Well, you'll be surprised.
Meanwhile, Andre Ellington is back in the game. He left earlier, but he's out there right now at tailback for Clemson, which has a 7-point lead midway through the 2nd quarter. And it'll be Ellington on the carry. And he stood up, able to push the defender backwards for about 2 or 3 yards. Tackle made by Sylvester Williams.
So many plays, so many weapons on Clemson's offense. Every snap, you're excited to watch him play because any one of these athletes can take it to the house.
And Boyd going to throw on 2nd and 7. Hopkins takes a shot but hangs on. A couple of Carolina players trying to rip the ball out. They whistle it dead right at the 1st down marker. Tim Scott, the initial hitter. It is a 1st down for Clemson.
You know why Taj Boyd, he talked about his improvement from the first 2 games. He understands the offense. He understands concepts. He understands weaknesses of defenses. And Chad Morris is putting him in position to make plays because now he sees the whole field and he takes advantage of the whole field.
He's 13th in the nation in both total offense and pass efficiency. 1st down at the Clemson 38-yard line. And that pass too high for Ellington, incomplete.
You know, Chris, you made a great point. There's quarterbacks. I've been around quarterbacks, and you ask which you like better. Most quarterbacks like to spread the field. It's much easier to identify the defender you have to read to make a throw. The tighter the formations, the more difficult it is to see. Taj Boyd is doing a great job, but more importantly, the coach is giving him opportunity to read defenses. Why? You're spreading the field with him, and it's much easier to read the defender.
Boyd gonna go deep. Watkins overthrown, incomplete, and it'll bring up 3rd and 10. Watkins was there.
Once again, we saw this earlier. The hash marks are there for a reason. You're seeing the safeties get so much width. That's putting too much pressure on the linebacker to run with him, Chris. That's Sammy Watkins. There's not a linebacker in the country going to be able to turn, flip his hips, and run with him down the middle of the field.
Especially when that linebacker is looking back at the quarterback. That linebacker has to turn that into man-to-man. Don't take your eyes off him, because as soon as you turn your head back, the faster receiver will pull away.
3rd down and 10. Boyd setting up the screen, and the pass was too high for Bellamy. So 3 and out for the Tigers, and Clemson will punt the football.
Don't underestimate the importance of that 3 and out because of the field position that Clemson had. In North Carolina, being able to catch your breath on defense, and hopefully, if you're a Carolina fan, sustain some type of clock on offense.
My bad, they did get a 1st down, but then 3 and out, and the punt. Zimmerman will punt the football, and Brown is back at his 18-yard line. And Brown hit by a teammate, and he still caught the football. A teammate right in his face, and he was still able to hang on to it. Heisman hopefuls take center stage tonight on the ESPN networks. On ESPN2 at 7:15 Eastern, Trent Richardson in Alabama take on Tennessee. Then on ESPN at 8, it's Russell Wilson and Wisconsin facing Michigan State. We just saw Michigan State knock off Michigan last week. Can the Spartans do it again against Heisman hopeful Russell Wilson? Here's our Heismanology poll results. As of October 19th, right now Andrew Luck in 1st place, and you can understand why. Arguably the best player in college football. 1st down, North Carolina, and Renner able to get the high snap and hand off, but no running room for Bernard. Clemson all over that. Stephon Anthony there, along with Tyler Shatley and Courtney Brown.
Might not be a bad idea as we progress throughout the game to go back to that empty set on 1st down and start running those option routes again, just to get yourself in manageable 2nd and 3rd down situations. It's almost like an automatic 5-yard gain every time they want that.
Renner, and it's intercepted by Courtney Brown. He'll take it in. Touchdown. The big guy got the big mitts up, picked it off. And then 20-yard return for 6 points. How about Renner? 2 interceptions this 1st half. He had gone 3 games without throwing a pick. And now it's 24-10 Clemson. They tried to set up the screen to Bernard, but Courtney Brown with the deflection, interception, and touchdown. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. From Death Valley, South Carolina, Clemson 7-0, 4-0 in the ACC, and a 2-touchdown lead on North Carolina after Courtney Brown, a defensive lineman, a graduate student, with a pick 6. Brown on the return for Carolina. And he gets tackled at the 26-yard line. Darius Robinson leading the charge.
If you give me smart football players, you give me a chance to win. Courtney Brown recognizing the quick swing pass, reading the eyes of the quarterback, coming off his block, and showing good athleticism. Again, I'm going to tell you, if you're running a short pass or a little swing pass, you got to teach the offensive lineman to get his hands down. The only way he's going to get his hands down is force him to get him down by chopping his kneecaps. That's it. End of story. Coach that.
Mental note, Dave. Watch your kneecaps around Chris Spielman.
First down Carolina on its 27. Only the 10th run play. Their longest run has been 7 yards. And Bernard doesn't get much there. Let's check in with Clint Kessner.
Guys, this is a Carolina Tar Heel team that bounced out of the locker room today with great pizzazz. You look at them right now, flat, extremely flat as a pancake. You got this defense, guys just sitting down, shaking their heads, not really together on the sideline, kind of looking around for answers. They are really kind of struggling right now emotionally.
Carolina trying to speed up the tempo. Second down and 9. And there's a pitch to Bernard. And he spins out of a tackle, spins out of another. And Bernard lost the football. North Carolina may have gotten it back at the 42-yard line. It is a Tar Heel first down. And it is Carolina ball. It was recovered by Travis Bond, the right guard.
Well blocked here by Carolina. For North Carolina to get any momentum and get back into this game, Gio Bernard's got to make these kind of runs and take care of the football.
Oh, right through the wickets of Darius Robinson for Clemson. He had it in his hands and he dropped it.
You got to know that this North Carolina offense isn't built to score in a hurry. They're built for comebacks.
Renner has to step away from trouble and going to go deep. One-on-one coverage down there. It's caught. It's a touchdown. It's Jeremy Boyd, his second receiving score of the first half.
I take it back. I guess they are.
Well, Clemson's defense has struggled. They gave up 45 points last week to Maryland. It has not been easy all year for Clemson. They haven't had any easy games, even Troy and Wofford early in the year. So why should this one be any different?
It's almost like the Clemson players and these fans expect the same thing. This is going to be a close ball game.
Point after makes it 24-17 after a 58-yard touchdown pass. Renner is second of the day.
Once again, you can see a split safety look here by Clemson. Two safeties deep, getting too much width. The bunch alignment has been giving them a hard time all day. That's a bad reaction by his quarters coverage. The safety steps up, jumps the number 2 receiver.
Here's the deal on quarters coverage. The safety is doing his job. He's got that receiver. So what's the corner have to do? The corner has to play off and inside and take away the post. That's the number one quarters coverage beater is the post. If the corner doesn't play off and inside, it's easy pickings, especially with a big-time speed receiver like Boyd.
That's where the change of formations and the change of looks is giving Clemson a hard time. The bunch alignment, what you just said, Chris, is correct. That's basically man-to-man inside leverage from a bunch alignment.
Yes.
You're thinking the guy's going to make an outcut or a corner route, so he jumped outside and gave him
You give him the out. You give him the corner.
Anytime Clemson has had adversity, Sammy Watkins has changed the game. And they're going to kick it to him again. Watkins at the 15-yard line. And he's out across the 30. Let's go to Reese Davis in the studio.
All right, Dave, coming up on the Bud Light halftime report, Arkansas sleptwalked through about the first 25 minutes of the first half against Ole Miss. Hogs awake, but now they're in trouble. Oklahoma State on the road at Missouri. They've been impressive in the early going. And Mark and Lou will look ahead to the Big Ten showdown between Wisconsin and Michigan State tonight.
Can't wait for that game tonight in East Lansing. Meanwhile, here we got a good one, Reese. 24-17, Clemson on top. Taj Boyd going back to work, but it's batted down by Kareem Martin. Defensive end, another 6'6" guy getting his hands up, knocking it down.
Same rule applies, but I'm going to tell you what, that was a pick 6. Charles Brown had that beat. He beat Sammy Watkins to the ball. Now, if you're Clemson, what you do?
The corner.
Yeah, thank you. A sluggo, a slant and go. If he's going to get that nosy and jump, you run a slant and go back to that. Look for that as the game progresses.
We've already seen Brown jump in front of Sammy Watkins one time and make a play.
6-man pressure look. 0 safeties deep.
And Boyd gets rid of it quick. Incomplete. Trying to hit the tight end Allen. So it's 3rd down and 10.
Both teams playing very good on defense other than giving up a big play down the middle. I mean, both these teams are playing fine on defense. Just don't give up the big play.
Stay patient. Keep it in front of you.
And it's been big plays. 33 and 58-yard touchdown passes for Carolina. 25 and 29-yard touchdown passes for Clemson.
Here's the same look, Chris. There's no safeties deep. Expect 6-man pressure. What's the answer for Clemson? A quick screen.
On 3rd and 10, Hopkins breaks a tackle and picks up the 1st down. Hopkins with over 100 yards receiving here in the first half.
They have the defense you want. You force them to hot read, and it's all about making a play in open field. Charles Brown, poor tackling, and Hopkins proving to be another playmaker, which shows you the problems that this Clemson offense continues to provide. Who do you take away?
He's only a sophomore, Hopkins. I mean, all these guys are young with the exception, well, Allen, he's a junior as well. I was going to say him, but even though he's the most veteran of these guys. Boyd looking for Watkins, and Sammy makes 1-man miss, and then down he goes in midfield for a gain of 4. Kareem Martin on the tackle for North Carolina.
The athletes at Clemson very rarely get tackled by the first defender. You see that every time a guy's making a guy miss, getting plus yardage.
But I'm going back. That was a great. They brought 7. They didn't bring 6. They brought 7. You force the hot read. It's just about making plays in open field.
There's the same look, Chris, right here. No safeties deep. They're bringing 6.
And Boyd has to get rid of it. He had 2 Carolina defenders in his face. So it is 3rd down and 7. Sylvester Williams and Quentin Coples for North Carolina putting pressure on Boyd.
That's the same look as Urban said. They're not bringing 6. They're bringing 7. And so they're trying to get 5 out to get 7. They're forcing them to make the hot read now. The middle of the field is wide open, guys. It's wide open in that look with 0 coverage. 0 coverage meaning no safeties help over the top. Here it comes again.
Now they back off this time. And Boyd throwing middle, and it's broken up. Incomplete. It's Zach Brown, who made some plays in the backfield earlier, now making a play down the field, breaking up a pass.
North Carolina doing a very good job showing a 7-man pressure, 6-man pressure, no safeties deep. At the last second, they bailed out, and Taj Boyd thought the middle was going to be wide open.
That's what would be wide open if they would have came with the same pressure. But again, good chess match and a great call by the defense coordinator, Art Kaufman. And good discipline by holding that blitz look as long as they could, then getting out.
How about 30 pass attempts already by Taj Boyd here in the first half? To 13 run plays. Zimmerman gets it away. Charles Brown is the return man, and he didn't signal for the fair catch. And he's able to break a couple of tackles before he gets swarmed at the 16-yard line. Our Aflac trivia question. Clemson coming into today with 10 plays of 50 yards or more. Who's the only team that has more 50-yard plays? And Chris, you said it will surprise you. Why? Because Georgia Tech doesn't throw the ball. They're a triple option team, right, Urban?
Oh, they're hard to defend. Every defensive coordinator that goes against a school like Georgia Tech's got a little nervous twitch to them. They just don't want to see that triple option.
But when they do throw it, they've had big plays so far this year.
They've had big plays in the run game, too.
Yeah.
So now Carolina with 2:04 left and 2 timeouts takes over on 16-yard line. They haven't been able to run the ball, but they have been able to get plays down the field through the air. Is that what you're looking for here?
Absolutely, and I'm going to tell my safeties as I'm Clemson to play deep. Not play quarters, but play cover 2, which means 2 guys deep.
They're going to run it here. The pitch to Bernard, looking for the cutback, and he's to the 19-yard line. Andre Branch there defensively. It's a gain of 3.
The one thing, Clemson gave up 291 yards rushing to Maryland a week ago. You can tell Kevin Steele and that defense staff made a great emphasis, stop the run. And so far today, they're doing that.
So 2nd down and 7. Carolina not in a hurry, at least not yet. They fake the inside run, throw it into the flat. And And it's a first down. Highsmith then coughed it up, and Clemson has it. Clemson takes over as Rashard Hall gets the fumble recovery in North Carolina territory at the 47-yard line.
Watch his knee. His knee's going to pop the ball out.
That's just inexcusable. As much as a missed tackle drives you nuts, Chris,
yeah,
to see a guy carry a ball with the open wrist like that. I mean, that error caused that fumble. That was no defender hit that guy to cause that fumble. You got to take care of the ball.
And now you got a quick strike offense with a short field, and you get a chance, if you're Carolina, to go in with huge momentum. And now you might be down 14 points.
And if you're Carolina, you will not give up the deep one, because this is a time after a turnover on a short field where a lot of teams like to take a shot down the field.
They're showing the same look, Chris. 7.
And Boyd gonna take that shot, going for Watkins, and a flag comes in. It's going to be interference on Tim Scott, trying to defend Sammy Watkins.
Great call by Chad Morris to show that you got one-on-one matchup. There's no help. Sammy Watkins, one of the best players in college football, isolated, launches down the field, let him go make a play.
Again, he's matched up with the other true freshman, Tim Scott.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 7, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Well, he's in good position too. He's running. And the rule is, as a defensive back, you have to look and lean. You look back to the ball and lean into the receiver. A lot of times you're looking like you're making a play on the ball. That's how you can get away with a little bit of contact. But if you don't look back and you make contact, you're going to get the flag every time.
North Carolina with 3 turnovers and 6 penalties as Boyd throws it out there for Watkins, and he'll come up just short of the first down. 3rd down and a couple. Tydreek Powell tripped him up.
Go back to that call again by Chad Morris and think forward here. You start getting that pressure again. There's not a guy in that wearing a Carolina blue that can cover Sammy Watkins one-on-one. Take that shot every time.
Boyd takes the short throw, now running around and throws it away. So it's 4th down and 2, and from here it's a 43-yard field goal. What do you do?
3rd down and 2.
3rd down and 2. Excuse me. If you don't get it here, what do you do?
Depending on the situation, you have time. They have such trust in their offense. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it, but I like the little setup there. Chad Morris's offense is all about setting up, setting up, setting up. They give you a look, bubble screen. That time they had Dwayne Allen fake like he was blocking, and they tried to shoot him on a takeoff, but the safety was disciplined in his coverage, did not let him get over the top.
And on the delayed handoff, Ellington going to lose yardage back at the 30, so you lose 5 or 6. Well, now you got to kick a field goal because it's 4th and 6 or 7.
Yeah, it'll be a 48-yard field goal.
Timeout called by Clemson to talk about it here. The chase heads to NASCAR's biggest wild card, Talladega, where points leader Carl Edwards will try to hold back a surging Kyle Busch, and Jimmy Johnson will look to bounce back from last week's setback. Chase continues at Talladega Sunday 1 Eastern on ESPN.
Catanzaro has a long of 47 on the year.
There's Highsmith, still distraught over his fumble.
You get your head up. You need a leader over there, as quarterback or somebody, to get over there and get your head up. It's all right. We're coming back to it. We'll make a play. That's what Bryn Renner's, I think, doing right now.
I mean, they've shown they can get big plays on this Clemson defense. I mean, 3 turnovers, and they're only down 7 at this point.
That's the adjustment the Clemson defense has to make. If you're going to play quarters coverage, you're going to need to coach your corners to get off it inside. If not, you better play too deep because of the speed of Highsmith and Jones attacking the middle of the field, along with.
Well, you mentioned a season-long 47. His career-long is 48. This would be a 47-yard try. And it's no good. So Carolina with 2 timeouts, decent field position, 30 seconds left, and they survive that one there.
I think you go ahead and play safe, go to the locker room.
After that turnover. Now Clemson number 7 in the initial BCS standings, tied for the best ever. Going back to 2000. Here's our Vizio BCS standings. You got LSU playing Auburn minus some of their key guys. And you got Wisconsin, Michigan State tonight. Any surprises here, guys, in terms of where teams are positioned, either good or bad?
Well, not by the standings, but if I were to rank best team, Alabama to me is #1. Then you can take Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma, and Wisconsin. You can mix Oklahoma, LSU, and Wisconsin up, mix it up in a ball, and I could rank those guys any place. But Alabama to me is the clear-cut #1. But I understand the standings.
Now Carolina Santa Ana, we turned it over 3 times. Let's just take a knee and a half.
You know, the team that I'm really impressed with, and I don't want to say surprised, I just didn't know enough about them. Wisconsin is the real deal. If they continue to play defense, my concern was defense when we had them earlier in the year. They're great on offense, and they're playing very good on defense.
Quinn Kesnick standing by with Dabo Swinney.
Coach, how would you best describe the play of your safeties in light of the big plays?
Well, we've a couple turnovers, which has been good, but we've been a little feast or famine. We're really lucky that we've got the lead right now because double moves are hurting us, and we got to do a better job of playing our technique, being disciplined on the double move, and then offensively, we've got to do a better job on down and handling the pressure. Right now, we're not doing a good job with the pressure.
How do you change that?
Well, we got to go in here and get on the same page and make sure we got our blitz answers ready to go and just settle down and keep playing.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
This team leading 24-17 over North Carolina at the half. As we go to Reese Davis in the studio for the Bud Light halftime report.
Determined spirit lives at Clemson. Always has. We're passionate, we're tenacious, and we're solid orange. But most of all, we're a family. Sometimes loud, always proud, ever loyal. With a determined spirit that says, bring it on. Go Tigers.
Welcome back to College Football on ESPN, presented by Cars.com.
This team has each other's back. They got my back. They got the coach's back. There's a lot of love on this team. I want to tell all the Clemson Nation, they better be there waiting on us because it's time to have some fun. We don't give a crap. It can't have enough snaps. They're like a city on the mountaintop and let their light shine. They don't quit. They say we can't do it. What they say now. And I couldn't think of a better place to end the street than Death Valley, South Carolina, baby.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. And I'm sure it was an interesting locker room speech from Dabo Swinney at halftime. His team is leading by 7, but the difference right now is an interception return for a touchdown by a defensive lineman. With Chris Spielman, Urban Meyer, I'm Dave Pasch. North Carolina holds Clemson to only 15 rushing yards. Yes, 200 passing yards, but the completion percentage is around 50 for Taj Boyd.
And here's what North Carolina is doing. They're bringing 7. No safety help. Those are 7 guys right there, and they're forcing Taj Boyd to make a quick decision. Now here they got a break because they got an interference on Sammy Watkins. Now the counter for North Carolina is
they're going to show 7 up and then they're going to bail. That confused Taj Boyd, and he throws the ball right down the middle field, which is the answer for 7 pressure, for 7 men coming, no deep, launch it down the field to your playmakers.
So going into halftime, that's what Dabo Swinney said. We have to do a better job of adjusting to their pressures. Now they also showed a cover 2 fire zone. Normally when you see fire zone, which is a 5-man pressure with 6 men dropping, you see it out of a cover 3 look. North Carolina is doing a good job of mixing and matching. They just got to keep the ball in front of them.
They're going to kick it to Sammy Watkins again. They've done it all day. Watkins across the 25. He's loose. Watkins able to keep his balance before finally being dragged down at the 30-yard line.
It's going to cost them. You don't kick it to them. I'm going to keep saying it. If they keep kicking it to them, I'm going to keep saying it.
College football, everybody's enamored by speed. It's a game of acceleration. Watch Sam and watch get tied up here. Watch this acceleration. He almost pulls right out of it. That's what separates him. There's a lot of fast players, Chris, in college football. His point A to point B in the short distance is so fast the way he accelerates. Makes him a dangerous player.
So first down for Clemson on its 39-yard line. They're going to run the football here to Ellington, who gets grabbed at the point of attack by Sylvester Williams. Take a look at our Bud Light game track. You see the numbers for Boyd. Renner had 2 interceptions, including that one return for a touchdown by Courtney Brown, but he also has 2 long touchdown passes to Jeremy Boyd.
So you got to be encouraged if you're North Carolina, understanding that a pick 6 was part of the points that Clemson had.
Second down out of the backfield. It's Ellington, and a nice play by Tim Scott in the open field. Minimal gain. Here's Quint.
Spoke with Chad Morris, Clemson offensive coordinator. He said he had not seen that type of pressure on tape from North Carolina, so it caught him a little off guard. He said center Dalton Freeman and quarterback Taj Boyd have to get them in the correct protections, look for them to check down and throw the ball to their hot reads more often in the second half.
Let's see what Carolina does here if they bring pressure on 3rd down and 4. They don't, backing off, and the pass is wide, incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Allen, the intended receiver, had a linebacker, Zach Brown, covering. Clemson will punt the ball.
Right now, they're in Taj Boyd's heads a little bit. They showed the 7 up again, no deep pressure, and then bailed and forced Taj to make a bad throw.
But they had a 2 deep look off of that, Urban. They played cover 2, so that's just a 3rd look off the 7 up on the line of scrimmage look. Outstanding game plan. You're making that offense think.
Art Kaufman, the defensive coordinator, calling the defense for North Carolina. Zimmerman will punt it away. And Brown, the deep man for Carolina. And this one will go into the end zone, and the Tar Heels will start at their 20. Can Bryn Renner and North Carolina cut down on the mistakes? If they do, you would presume they'll have a shot to win this football game. Clemson has been a very good second-half team this year, in part because they've had to come from behind. Against Troy to start the season, they trailed at halftime. Against Wofford, they trailed in the second half. They were tied with Auburn at halftime. They were down last week. So how will they play with the lead now in the second half against the Carolina team that has shown that it can throw the ball down the field against Clemson's defense? Pitch it, and Bernard looking for a running lane, and he gets 5 yards. That's one of their better runs of the day.
I'll tell you right now, Gio stays outside. He has more than 5 yards. North Carolina did a good job of cutting the corner, making the corner short by collapsing the outside player, and they're going tempo.
Underneath throw is short of the 1st down marker. Boyd on the catch, so it'll bring up 3rd down and about a yard.
We talked before the game about our opinion. The best way to North Carolina stay in this game is bleed the clock. That means get some long drives, keep the ball, and most importantly, keep Sammy Watkins and the Clemson offense on the sideline.
They've got trouble running. Do you try to pound it here, or do you take your chances with Renner throwing the football?
I think we got a little matchup down here at the bottom of the screen and a one-on-one with Boyd.
And they just shifted their tailback out into the pattern, so it is a pass play as Renner pumps and going deep, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Boyd with coverage downfield. Pretty good for Clemson, Xavier Brewer.
You just felt that coming. That's why we pointed out Boyd was open. He had a step on Brewer, and Renner's got to step into the throw because that's a touchdown.
But Boyd's got to come back. If he comes back to the ball, that's a PI.
What do you think about the
feet,
call?
come back to. I love that call. There's one-on-one coverage. Take the shot out there. You have that play, but Boyd's got to come back to the ball. It's a PI if he does.
Clemson or North Carolina now 0 for 7 on 3rd down today, yet only down 7 points. Hibbard, true freshman punter, and DeAndre Hopkins already over 100 yards receiving. They'll signal for the fair catch, and it'll be Clemson football at its 35-yard line. 24-17, Clemson leads. Back at Clemson, the Tigers undefeated at 7-0, 7th in the initial BCS standings, but facing a challenge. Their offense has 17 points. They had a defensive touchdown. North Carolina has stopped Clemson on the ground, but the Tigers will run Ellington here, and down he goes, twirled to the turf at the line of scrimmage by Kevin Reddick. So no gain at 2nd and 10.
The front 7 for the Tar Heel defense is solid. You have to start going here quick. The corners are playing off. When they're playing off, that's when you start attacking the flat with hitch routes and 3-step drops.
Boyd, play fake, and he's got his tight end Allen, and Allen has the first down, fighting for extra yardage, gets to the 47 for 13 yards.
There it is. It's a 3. It's attacking the outs because of the off coverage. You see Charles Brown giving ground, Dwight Allen on a linebacker, a matchup you'll take and exploit all day long. Excuse me, on a safety in Jonathan Smith.
Here comes a reverse to Boyd. He was lined up at receiver. Now Boyd throwing it deep for Hopkins. Hopkins makes the grab inside the 15-yard line.
Little wildcat look with a handoff. Taj Boyd lined up at receiver. Hopkins having a career day, just going up and make a play. That was actually well covered.
And the beauty of it is going up and making the catch at its highest point.
39-yard reception, 157 receiving yards on the day for DeAndre Hopkins. That's a career high.
All right, go back yesterday. We're sitting in the meeting room here at Clemson, and we said, list your 5 best playmakers. Hopkins has a career day. That just tells you the amount of talent on this Clemson team at the skill positions.
He was listed at number 5, but obviously he benefits from the skill and the threat of Watkins, Dwight Allen, Ellington.
Brandon Thomas shaking up the starting left guard. He was a backup at the beginning of the year at the tackle position. So we'll see how that impacts Clemson's offensive line here. David Smith, who has gotten a lot of playing time this year, will come into the game. It's first down at the North Carolina 14. They run Bellamy into the backfield, and Boyd will throw. Boyd in trouble, and sacked at the 21, but a penalty flag. May have been a face mask. Boyd's helmet is off. You'd imagine that's the foul. Quentin Coples made the stop.
Face mask, 95 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Kareem Martin, the guilty man on the face mask, so you get a sack. They lose 7 yards, but you do that.
A lot of times it's just bad luck where Kareem Martin has got to be able to feel that the helmet and fingers are caught in the face mask. Let it go. This is where a little bit of the, Urban might disagree with me that the spread offense is an offense you really don't have the ability to pound it inside in short yardage because of the numbers.
They go empty here on 1st and goal at the 7. And Boyd on the run inside the 5. Boyd to the goal line. They have not signaled yet. Now he's down. He's down just short of the goal line.
Looks familiar, doesn't it, Coach?
That's simply an off-tackle power play.
Short.
Yeah, he's short. You know, Chris mentioned that's nothing but I formation football with your quarterback running the ball. That's off-tackle power.
2nd and goal on the 1. They go out of the eye behind Boyd. Quarterback sneak. And they haven't signaled. Boyd looked like he got in. Touchdown. Fourth rushing touchdown for Taj Boyd. It's 30-17.
You know, Chad Morris talked about 5 weapons on offense, add a 6th, because now he is somewhat of a threat running the football, at least somebody that you have to account for.
Got a whistle and a stoppage of play here. They might.
Previous play is under further review. Ruling on the field is touchdown.
They're going to look to see if the knee was down before the ball crossed the plane. The officials waited, and they took their time before the touchdown signal.
Good luck trying to see that one, Dave.
Yeah. And you know what? When you can't see the ball as a replay official, you're not going to overturn the ruling on the field.
No. That's why they're running in there to see where Taj Boyd ended up. Right there. It's like a Rubik's Cube. Good luck figuring that out.
How'd you like to be the replay guy? Okay, make the call here.
How'd you like to be the guy on the bottom of the pile, which is worse?
Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, it's that thing that scientists use. Guys like you.
Again, the ruling in the field is touchdown. Got to be indisputable video evidence to overturn it, but didn't appear that there was.
Now, Dave, we've seen a lot of offenses so far this year. Week 7, week 8. How many?
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
How many teams have as many weapons as a Clemson offense right now in the country?
Are they as good as LSU, Alabama, Oklahoma?
Offensively?
Oh, yeah, easy. Offensively.
Easy?
And Wisconsin, yeah. Because of the amount of weapons, it makes them so difficult to defend offensively.
Extra point, 31-17. Early third. Taj Boyd accounting for another Clemson touchdown.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Cadillac and Mobile One Extended Performance Synthetic Motor Oil. Keep your engine running like new.
Danny Ford led the Clemson Tigers to a national championship in 1981, so they are celebrating the 30-year anniversary of that title. Now, it's interesting, they haven't won a conference title since 1991. They've never been to a BCS Bowl.
It's 30 years, Dave, since they've been to a major bowl game. This place is our second time we've been here. This is too good a place.
Here's Charles Brown for North Carolina, and he lost the ball. Recovered by Clemson inside the 15-yard line. North Carolina is its worst enemy today. 4 turnovers by the Tar Heels.
You know, my point was, Chris, you look at this environment.
Xavier Brewer on a fumble recovery for Clemson.
You look at this environment, you look at the quality of athletes that are play here. This team should be playing in a BCS bowl game every few years. This is a heck of a place.
The athletes, correct. Well, let's see what weapon Taj Boyd dials up now.
Robert Smith forced the fumble, and for the 4th time today, Clemson starting in Tar Heel territory on the 12 as Boyd has his pass batted down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Kareem Martin appeared to get a hand on it. He did that earlier. Still a lot of time left, so if Carolina can hold them to 3 to go down 21 on the road.
Tough, especially if you have an offense that isn't a high-tempo, hurry-up type scoring machine.
Boyd will throw again, and back shoulder toss that is caught. A beautiful grab by Brandon Ford for the touchdown.
There's another weapon. Where'd he come from? That's as well-executed back shoulder throw as I've seen this year. A little wheel route coming out of the backfield, and another weapon for Taj Boyd to complete a pass to.
It's his 4th catch of the year, Brandon Ford, and his 1st touchdown. And it is a 21-point Clemson lead.
Now this is a read throw. That means the quarterback's going to feel the corner. If the corner's low, he's going to throw it over the top. If the corner's high, like 28, he's going to back shoulder throw that. That's as good a throw as there is, Chris. You can't really defend that.
Well, yeah, and it's trust between a receiver and the quarterback, understanding the positioning of the defensive back. Taj Boyd, celebrate. You should. You're having a day.
Chris, that's a 6'4", 235-pound wide receiver that we don't know doesn't play a whole lot.
Well, he had 3 receptions on the year.
Where are they getting these guys?
I don't know, but they're so difficult. Dave, you asked me the question. They're so difficult to defend. One is the play calling, to me, is outstanding. Really good, and he keeps you so unbalanced or off balance as a defense. And 2, when you add good play calling with good athletes, then you have a deliverer or distributor of the football like Taj Boyd. You can beat anybody on any given time of any day.
TJ Thorpe is back now. He's their normal return man. He fumbled last week and also got hurt in that game. He did come back in and play, but Charles Brown was the man that fumbled the last return for North Carolina. Here's Thorpe. And Thorpe crosses the 30-yard line. And Thorpe in the Clemson territory, and nobody gonna get him. Touchdown, Carolina. First time the guy touches it all day, and he takes it all the way in for 6.
It's all about setting up when you run returns. You want to get the flow of the coverage team going one way, and you hope you pop it through a seam through the cutback the other way.
Carolina saying we're not done yet. 38-24 after the point after by Thomas More.
Well, now Thorpe has a little bit more speed. Now watch him just with a little bit of setup. Here comes a double team kick out. And right there's no setup. It's just an open lane and a good job of execution. There's a setup on the kicker. Then it's a foot race.
Adam Humphries trying to catch him, but he can't.
The job of the kick return team is to get the returner to the second level. They do that, and then he put a skilled athlete with the ball in his hands, make a kicker miss, and he's gone.
How about that? You fumble one kickoff and turn it over at the 12-yard line. Then the next kickoff, you take it all the way for a touchdown. A different guy. Brown was the one that fumbled it. And then Thorpe back there the next time with a return for a touchdown.
Just held serve. 2 minutes wasted in the game. All right, let's go. Let's start again.
So does anything change? I mean, momentum was going Clemson's way. Do they still have the momentum because they have that 14-point lead? Or does Carolina get a little bit of it back?
No, they got momentum because they got great skilled athletes running around on offense. And they have a very good play caller right now. So that's the game will get a little closer, but Clemson still has momentum.
A ton of time left, 9.5 to go in the third.
I don't kick it. I'm going to say it again, and I'm sorry if I'm redundant, but just what I saw happen, pooch it.
No.
That's a little of a pooch now.
And it's actually not Watkins, it's Brown. And Brown is loose. And Watkins is out there blocking for him. They finally get to Brown in North Carolina territory. Jabari Price makes a tackle at the 42.
Once again, a kick return team gets him to the second level. I want you to watch Sammy Watkins, one of the most unselfish players in the country. Watch him block. Watch him lead block here and get a knockdown. That's a Chris Spielman type of player right there.
Charles Brown. And pooch it to the side. That way you only have to cover one side. I know I have a lot of suggestions up here, don't I? But
they haven't listened to one of them.
Not yet.
First down at the 45 of Carolina. And here's Bellamy. And Bellamy's got great speed. And close to a first down. Got a 75-yard touchdown run on his first collegiate carry. He is another talent. True Frost from Florida. High school All-American. And a track star.
Well, they get this running game going with this effective short passing game, mid-level passing game, and deep passing game. They've shown that they have all three ammunition bullets in their arsenal. They really do. They can hit you anywhere.
Boyd to throw here, gonna go deep. And And Boyd's pass is incomplete. Tried for Martavis Bryant, who already has a long touchdown catch in this game.
Now, Chris, Coach Sweeney made a comment that Bryant and Peak, two freshmen, have as much talent as Sammy Watkins. They're just not as game ready as Sammy Watkins.
3rd down and 1 for Clemson. Quarterback sneak by Boyd has the first down to the 34-yard line.
Yeah, the only difference is Sammy Watkins, and we talked about it earlier, and it's an important point to make because you see it not only in college football but the NFL. Young players, some of them can take it from the meeting room to the practice field to the game field. Sammy Watkins is one of those. Sometimes it takes younger players a little longer to develop that skill.
They said he was ready right away. They were telling him stuff, and he was like, yep, I get it, coach. And he'd go out there and perform. They fake it to him here, and Boyd takes a hit, but keeps the feet moving and gets about 3. Jordan Nix made the tackle for North Carolina.
You have to give North Carolina's defense a lot of credit. You have 2 300-pound defensive tackles backed up by 2 300-pound defensive tackles. Very fast, athletic, NFL caliber linebackers, and they're playing good defense. They're just giving up turnovers on offense.
Here's 2nd and 7. And Boyd pumps and hit, and the ball's out. Loose at the 45 and picked up. And Clemson will maintain possession as Brandon Ford was able to get to the loose football, but now it brings up 3rd down and long. You had Copels back there pressuring the quarterback for North Carolina, hacking it out from Taj Boyd.
Nice job by Copels of dipping that left shoulder, getting lower than the offensive tackle. And I like the fact that he doesn't go for the kill shot, secures with his left, and swipes the ball, David, with his right.
So now it is 3rd and 18, and they're back at the 42-yard line where this drive originally started.
Chad Morris down there changing the play.
Boyd gonna go deep. Got a man wide open. It's a touchdown. Watkins ran right by the DB. Earlier in the year, Urban, you asked on a 3rd down and 18, hey, Chris, call a play. It's your turn. Well, when you have Sammy Watkins, just throw it up, right? On 3rd and 18.
North Carolina showed 0 pressure again, or no deep safeties, 7-man pressure. They bailed, not bailing fast enough against a player like Sammy Watkins.
Point after, makes it 45-24. 9th receiving touchdown for Sammy Watkins, one of the most explosive and best all-around players in college football as a true freshman. 42-yard touchdown catch. Clemson with 45 points in this ball game, 38 on offense. You know, we're talking about Heisman candidates midseason. How about this guy, Taj Boyd? He now has 23 touchdown passes, only 3 interceptions, and 4 rushing touchdowns on an undefeated team that is a BCS championship contender. Agree or disagree?
I'm putting him there.
I'm putting him there with that guy, Sammy Watkins.
Here's Thorpe. Last time he touched it, took it to the house. And Thorpe all the way out to the North Carolina 45-yard line.
Understand situations, 3rd and 18. Quarters coverage. Your safety is going to be occupied by this receiver. This guy has to play off and inside. If he's not inside, you're giving up the middle of the field. When you give up the middle of the field, there's too much room to work. There's no safety help. If you push him to the outside, the one thing you do have is the sidelines to help you, and it's a much more difficult throw for the quarterback to make.
That's excellent analysis of quarters coverage. It's basically when you have number 2 go vertical, it's one-on-one coverage, take away the inside, force the outside throw, and run. You got to open your hips and run.
Runner to throw on 1st down. And Highsmith in the middle of the field gets a handful. Here's Reese in the studio.
You guys aren't the only ones having fun with kickoff returns. Kansas and Kansas State. Tyler Lockett, who took one back 100 yards against Texas Tech last week, makes it 2 for 2. Kansas has been pretty much conscientious objectors in this game. They are getting smoked. It's 52-14. Not nearly as close as the score indicates, Dave.
But I'll tell you what, Reese, Kansas State and Clemson, they're in the running for surprise team of the year. You look at what both these teams have done based on their preseason projections. Run play, nowhere to go for Bernard. It was Sensabaugh who got there first. They lose yardage on 2nd and 5, setback of about 3 yards.
You have a corner up there making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. That has to be recognition on Britton Renner's part. I don't know if he has the authority, but if not, I'd give him the authority to change the play.
And then also this offense, Chris, you mentioned, is not made for fast breaks, score a lot of points. They're in a dilemma here. Do they change who they are? If they do, this could get real ugly.
3rd down and 8. Everybody's standing here in Death Valley. Off play action. Renner throws incomplete. He got hit by Rennie Moore when he released the pass. It's 4th down, and North Carolina will punt the ball.
3 and out, bad field position with a not very confident defense who's getting ready to take the field.
0 for 8 on 3rd down today. They actually got a 4th down conversion. They do not have any 3rd down conversions.
And this is against a Clemson defense, Dave, that last week against Maryland got kind of shown the door as far as getting up 291 yards rushing.
Yeah, 291 in that game, yet today North Carolina has just 51 yards on the ground. And a bad punt here. And it bounces out of bounds inside the 25. Monday night, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and the Ravens defense look to put the clamps on Maurice Jones-Drew and the Jaguars. It's ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern, also available live on Watch ESPN. Coverage starts at 7. Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. Ravens defense has been outstanding this year and maybe emerging as the team to beat in the AFC. New England obviously has had a terrific season. The Jets have not played as well as many thought they would. Buffalo has been a surprise team as there's a penalty flag down, and on the run it's DJ Howard to the 25, but it's likely coming back.
I'm going to ask Coach Meyer a question here. If you're a high tempo offense and you have a
Offside. Defense. Number 98. 5 yards. Still 1st down.
21-point lead, do you slow it down or do you keep the momentum going and keep the foot on the gas?
That's all depends on who you trust. If you have Taj Boyd, you have a quarterback you can trust that's going to manage the game, I'd keep it the pedal to the metal through the 3rd quarter and get to the 4th quarter, let the guys play, because that's who they are, that's what they know. Let them have fun and go play. So I think that's what Chad Morris is going to do.
Sorry, Urban. So offside was the call. One official had false start, but it is an offside. So they take the penalty, 1st and 5 at the Clemson 26. They've run 25 more plays than North Carolina. Here's an end around to Humphreys. And he gets clocked a couple of yards short of the 1st down. And Charles Brown will bring up 2nd down and short.
Here they come with a different package. It's almost a 3 tight end package with a fullback in deal, number 30. Usually their power run package.
They get up to the line quickly here on 2nd and short. And a quick pitch. Howard breaks a tackle and gets the 1st down and thrown down on the near side, but no penalty flag. Trey Boston made the tackle.
Well, everybody calm down in the stands. He tackles him inside. He throws him down out of bounds. It's fine. We got to be careful of over-legislating those hits. It's a lay down.
Another freshman skilled athlete for Clemson carrying the ball.
DJ Howard from Lincoln, Alabama. And patient there was Howard behind the blocker. Out to the 45 for about 8 yards. It was Chad Deal, the fullback, out there again helping his tailback. Clemson can do whatever it wants right now on offense, huh?
Well, they can set him up now, too, because they're running the ball. You start thinking as a defensive coordinator, we got to stop the run. I wouldn't be surprised if I see him go over the top one more time.
Boyd will throw, and Pass that's incomplete, intended for Allen. Meanwhile, guys, the story of Chad Morris is incredible. This guy was in high school. He coached 1 year in college. That was last year at Tulsa as the offensive coordinator. In high school, he coached the likes of Garrett Gilbert and Jevin Sneed. But Dabo Sweeney wanted to go with the spread offense, so he hires Chad Morris as Boyd's pass is caught, and it's a first down by Allen at midfield. But Morris certainly is a huge story in college football this year.
They ran the same exact play that they ran before. Whoa. What do you think? Size 11 he's in, size 12 he's out.
And they're going to look at this. You know, what's interesting in Bubba Cunningham is the new athletic director at North Carolina. He'll begin that job next month. And he was at Tulsa. Chad Morris was an assistant at Tulsa for that one season. You'd have to think. So it's actually a challenge, a coach's challenge. And you know, Everett Withers certainly going to be a candidate, and there will be others, but you would think that Chad Morris's name will be in the mix, especially if Clemson keeps winning, because yes, it helps when you have great players, right, Urban, but you got to coach them too.
Yeah, from 88th to 15th in the country in offense. Usually it takes a year or two to get acclimated, especially drastic change from a high formation pro style offense to a spread. And the one thing I will say, that this, how they recruited, these are not traditional I formation personnel that they have. These are skilled athletes all over the field. That tight end Allen is a perfect hybrid player for this style of offense. And then all of a sudden you get the free agent Sammy Watkins comes jumping in here, and you got two of the most dynamic players at the key positions in the spread offense. That's an H-back, which is Sammy Watkins, a guy that can run the ball, and then also the tight end that can flex out and also play closed.
The ruling on the field stands as a catch and bounce. North Carolina will be charged with timeout, and they have no challenges left for the game.
So who are some of those guys that played for you at those positions that helped you win championships?
In the 08 national championship team, it's Aaron Hernandez, who's doing great for the Patriots, and Percy Harvin, who's doing great for the Vikings. Those are two of the best hybrid guys that I've been around.
But it all boils down, in my opinion, to one position that ultimately puts it all together. For Urban, it was obviously Tim Tebow, the starting quarterback of the Broncos, and for the Clemson Tigers, number 10, right there in your screen, Taj Boyd.
Think about his improvement from the first two games of the season. Taj Boyd.
It's unbelievable. They had trouble beating Wofford. They were down in the second half, and then all of a sudden it clicked against Auburn, and he's been a star since. And Boyd, with time to throw, senses pressure and makes a play. It's caught by Allen, and it looks like he's going to be right at the first down marker. But he had it initially, then he ran backwards behind the line and maybe short.
Constant pressure on the defense every snap. This is going to be a little trick play or something right here. Look at this.
Follow 30. He'll take you to the football every time.
Bellamy. And Bellamy has the first down inside the 35, brought down by Kareem Martin. '24th first down for Clemson, only 8 for North Carolina.
Something about the second half with Clemson says something to me about the coaching staff and being able to go into halftime and make those adjustments.
Boyd throws complete. It's Martavis Bryant inside the 10-yard line. First and goal for Clemson. Every throw almost by Boyd is crisp and on the money.
I think this kind of answered Chris Spielman's question about what do you do? You're up by 21 points. Third quarter, they got the pedal to the metal. That's who they are. Keep playing.
Pitch to Bellamy, and he slips. Now he goes at the 13-yard line. Loss of 3 on the play.
Decision making by a quarterback. You see it with Taj Boyd. He understands the concepts of where he's going, and that may have been a reason why he was struggling the first 2 ball games, because of the new offense that was implemented. Now that the light's on, he knows where the weakness is, and he understands where to deliver the football. He will see and throw, and he has a nice quick delivery, which is also an asset for a quarterback.
Boyd throws, and low pass that's caught at the 8-yard line by Allen. What is the hardest thing in coaching the spread offense for a quarterback to do when changing out of a more traditional offense?
I think the first place you start is pass protection. And when you start facing the 3-4 defenses, are so multiple that can cover both sides. That's the hardest thing for a quarterback to be able to pick up.
Here's Boyd on 3rd and goal. Has a touchdown pass to Dwayne Allen. 5th touchdown pass for Taj Boyd in this ball game. He also has a rushing touchdown. Pretty good drive, huh? 11 plays, 79 yards. Took some time off the clock. And Clemson leads it 52-24. 5 different receivers have caught Taj Boyd touchdown passes in this ball game.
You know, the thing he just added to his arsenal right there was a little shoulder shake.
Boyd has thrown the short pass well. He's thrown the deep ball well. Here he gets some help as Hopkins breaks some tackles and scores. And then he airs it out to true freshman Martavis Bryant. Boyd on the money here with that back shoulder pass to Ford. The deep pass to Watkins outruns the entire Tar Heel defense. There's that shoulder shake you talk about, Chris, and fires a dart to Dwayne Allen.
Every one was caught by a different receiver.
Yep.
I mean, you think about the arsenal of personnel right now here at Clemson, and you made a comment about Heisman candidates. How do you not have him in that conversation? They're going to be 8-0 if they hang on to the league, which it looks like they will. 8-0, a turnaround like this, and the way he's playing, he has to be one of the best players in America.
He's accounted for 30 touchdowns on the year and only 3 interceptions.
He's got to be in that conversation.
24 touchdown passes and 4 rushing touchdowns, so 28 total, but still incredible what he's been able to do as a first-year starter. He played in 7 games last year, but Kyle Parker was the #1 QB. Here's TJ Thorpe, and this time Clemson gets him. The last 2 returns were good. And he's short of the 20 here, and here's Reese Davis in the studio.
Dave, on the subject of Heisman candidates, time to take an innovative look at Russell Wilson, brought to you by AT&T, the Wisconsin quarterback who faces Michigan State tonight. Have a look at this on ESPN Access. He's got 3 receivers. You think for a second he's got Aberderis on the post. Wilson savvy, sees the safety, finds the wide open Nick Toon. He's going to be a handful for old Sparty tonight.
Russell Wilson, most efficient quarterback in the country entering this weekend. But Michigan State beat the Badgers last year. Of course, Wilson wasn't there. Renner dumps it off. It's Bernard out of the backfield getting the first down. Brought down at the 36-yard line by Willard. Now, we thought when we did Wisconsin at the beginning of the year, we weren't sure that they would put up the numbers through the air enough to give Russell Wilson legitimate candidacy for the Heisman Trophy.
Well, we knew how good he was, Dave, from watching him when he was at North Carolina State. You and I did. And know he was certainly effective throwing the football. Nick Toon's back tonight, which will certainly help.
That pass well overthrown, intended for Bernard, incomplete.
You know, we use that term up here this afternoon about free agent. How about the free agent here, Sammy Watkins? Is there a better free agent in America than Russell Wilson in Wisconsin?
Yeah, and you know, you talk about free agent. Dabo used that word yesterday in describing Watkins' ability to come in and learn everything quickly. It wasn't like he was a freshman. He just came in and they fit him into the system, said go, and he went out there and made plays.
And have a direct impact immediately.
2nd and 10 for Carolina. Here's Bernard. Stopped at the 40-yard line, 4-yard gain.
You think what Russell Wilson brings, I mean, as we predict the Big Ten and we predict all the conferences, sit down and do our preparation for the season, I had Wisconsin roughly around 3rd, 4th. 8-14, 7-5, 9-3 maybe.
You picked him to play for the title, right?
As soon as Russell Wilson came, I not only picked him for the Big Ten championship, I also picked him for the national championship.
And they certainly have a shot. You see Stout warming up there, the backup quarterback. He might get some work here in the fourth quarter. 3rd down 6. Renner in trouble. And he lost the ball. This guy's got a touchdown already. He might get another one. Courtney Brown's in. His 2nd touchdown today. He had a pick 6 earlier. This one's a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Most guys don't get 1 in a lifetime. This guy's got 2 in 1 game on defense.
And Kevin Steele certainly isn't, the defensive coordinator for Clemson isn't taking the foot off the gas. He's bringing pressure. That safety, Rashad Hall, will cause that fumble.
How many touchdowns, Chris, you score in your 12-year NFL career?
Only had 1, Dave.
Okay, 1 though. This guy's got 2 in 1 game.
See number 31, Rashad Hall. This is Kevin Steele getting active and aggressive. Take a look. He'll come from the top of your screen, off the corner. It's a 5-man zone pressure, strips the football. And I love the fact that Courtney Brown trusts his athletic ability instead of falling on the play. Trust yourself. You're a Division I athlete. Scoop and score. He's a graduate student. He's a smart football player.
He's listed 6'5", 6'6", 255 as a backup.
Right, he's not even a starter.
Athletes running around these orange uniforms now.
Wow. But just the mentality and the message that Clemson is sending, not only not taking the foot off the gas with Chad Morris, but Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator, is bringing pressure. And guess what? That's all directed by under the leadership of Dabo Swinney.
Courtney Brown, I don't know what was more impressive because the interception was pretty good too. He tipped it in the air, picked it off. And then here a fumble recovery for a touchdown as Clemson has put up 35 points here in the 3rd quarter. It was a 7-point game at halftime.
What adjustments do coaches make, Urban? How's that halftime go? I mean,
well, Dabo Swinney, when he's walking in, Quinn asked him, and they're not used to the pressures that North Carolina was giving him. So the first thing to do is it's all about pass protection. If you're going to throw the ball, protect your quarterback. Obviously, they've done a great job protecting and getting the ball downfield.
T.J. Thorpe on the kick return to the 26-yard line. Heisman hopefuls will be in the spotlight tonight. Maybe Taj Boyd has turned up the heat a little bit on Russell Wilson. Landry Jones for Oklahoma. Andrew Luck for Stanford. Trent Richardson for Alabama. You'll see them all tonight in action on the ESPN networks. Great night of college football. ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC.
You know, I often get asked the question, who's the 2nd best quarterback in the Big Ten? And people that not a lot of people outside the Big Ten have heard of is Kirk Cousins. Now, we had Kirk last week. Kirk can throw the football. And if they can get some guys holding on the ball and protect the football, they got a shot against Bucky tonight. They really do.
Beat them last year. Only team to knock off Wisconsin a year ago. That was also at East Lansing. Here's Highsmith out on the flat. Gets a stiff arm on the defender. And he has the first down to the 37-yard line. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. A profitable one for North Carolina. For Clemson rather. 35 Tiger points to take a 59-24 lead over North Carolina. And the coaches are still mad. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. From Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina. The Tigers put up 35 third-quarter points. Back in 2006 when they played North Carolina here, they beat them 52-7. It's 59-24 today as Bernard runs straight ahead for about 3. Bring up 2nd down. Rashard Hall on the tackle. Clemson last week put up 56 on Maryland. They were down in that game in the 2nd half. It was their 2nd biggest comeback in school history. No comeback needed today. They led the entire game. Actually, they were down 7-3 early. but took the lead and never looked back. Renner had his pass low, dangerous, but it's caught. Highsmith made the grab. Sensabaugh tried to step in front and pick it off.
North Carolina has been a team that shows 8 to 10 screen passes a game. We've not seen really any today from the North Carolina offense.
How much did it hurt not having Gio Bernard at 100% today?
He doesn't look the same to me. I'm not sure, Chris, what your thoughts are. On film, he was really impressive. 5 straight 100-yard games. He looks like he's very tentative today.
9 carries, 35 yards. That's it. They're going to throw the ball out of the backfield. Ebron, and he is to the 45 of Clemson for a first down.
And just to comment on Bernard and Urban, there's your screen pass. Unless he plays defense, it really doesn't matter, because the Clemson offense is just a machine.
Can anybody stop Clemson's offense that's on their schedule? I'll ask you that in a second. As here's Boyd. Got a couple of touchdown passes, but Clemson not fooled, and he gets a couple of yards on the run. And you look, you got Georgia Tech next week for Clemson. They've already beaten Virginia Tech.
I think that's the team. I mean, I thought today was going to be a little closer, but Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech, it's a grind you offense. If it's one of those, I go back, if it's a 35 to 36 minute possession time, keeping Clemson's offense off, that's the only shot you have against Clemson. Of all the teams in America, not just the schedule, Georgia Tech's the one team that can hang on to the ball.
South Carolina's got some issues. Quarterback, running back with Lattimore. So is that a game that Clemson wins on the road? Here's a screen pass to Bernard, and Bernard has the first down, tackled inside the 35-yard line.
That's a rivalry game. I mean, it's a great rivalry. You and I have done that game in the past. And so in those type of games, anything could happen, but it's just the versatility of the offenses which causes heartache to defensive coordinators. And we'll add that along with good play calling and a quarterback that's rolling, you're going to be tough to stop.
Renner looking for somebody to throw to, has a man along the sideline, and it's Highsmith who has the first down. Let's go to Reese.
Well, Dave, Arkansas is really sleepwalking through the Grove against the Right Reverend's team, Houston Nutt, Ole Miss and Arkansas. And look at Joe Adams. Joe Adams is going to take a little short pass and turn it into a long gain. Set up a touchdown. Hogs come all the way back from 17 down. They're up by 7.
Joe Adams, an exciting player. Saw him earlier this year, Reese, against Texas A&M. They got 4 good receivers at Arkansas. Out in the flat, it's Highsmith breaking a tackle. He's down to the 12-yard line, close to the first down.
You know, they just run 3 out of the last 4 plays of screen plays.
Yeah.
That's a big part of the North Carolina offense.
Clemson has a lot of their backups in the ball game.
You know, you saw that schedule, guys. Is that enough, though, to overcome a 1-loss Alabama or LSU?
Oh, absolutely. You run the table with that schedule, the 2 non-conference, South Carolina and Auburn. They run the table, they'll jump a 1-loss SEC team or Oklahoma.
Bernard on the carry, gets the first down.
If it's not enough, then there's a misjustice. I mean, if you run through your conference and you're a BCS conference, and you run through your conference with 2 SEC non-conference opponents, then it absolutely has to be enough. And I think voters would be insane to put a 1-loss SEC team over this team that would be undefeated.
And again, we're living in the complete speculative here, but what if you have several undefeated teams? What if a team like Wisconsin or Stanford is also unbeaten?
Then that comes down to opinion, and somebody's going to get the short end.
First and goal for Renner, and one-handed attempt, and it's incomplete. I think it was actually caught, but Jones was well out of bounds.
I don't care. I celebrate that. It's an athlete right here.
That's got to be worth some points, doesn't it? Wow.
Oh man, he didn't even bring it to his chest. He just snatched it out of the air with one hand. That's one of the best incompletions you'll ever see.
I'll come back to that and throw the fade stop and let him go win the jump ball. Put him on the wide side of the field, let him box him out and go win the jump ball.
Second and goal. Here's Bernard, trying to be patient behind his center, Russell Bodine, and he's out of bounds, pushed out by Cody Sensabaugh around the 5-yard line. It's 3rd and goal.
You know, our conversation you just had about the BCS, there's a coach down there in an orange and white shirt. That's his biggest nightmare right now, is that conversation in this town, in this locker room, about BCS, about all the nonsense. You better get ready to go stop Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech, because that's going to be one of the best offenses they'll face all year, without question.
He keeps selling the point that our main goal right now is to win the division. Then we'll take care of the other goals as they become available.
3rd and goal at the 5-yard line. Renner running around. Courtney Brown is chasing him. He wants no part of him again. And so he'll throw back at the end zone. Incomplete. It's 4th down. Well, you've been in that situation where people were talking BCS several times in Gainesville. How did you handle it?
We tried to make it as hard as possible, because you can control what you can control. You have your athletes for an hour meeting a day, maybe an hour and a half, and then you're on the field for 2.5 hours. You have them for 4 hours a day. You want to make it so hard that they're only worried about that 4 hours a day, because the rest of the day, you know what's happening. There's a bunch of pats on the back, a bunch of phone calls, agents, all the stuff that you don't want to deal with as a coach.
4th down and goal for North Carolina. Renner trying to set up a screen. Pass tipped in the air and intercepted. Another North Carolina turnover. Darius Robinson with the interception for Clemson. 6th takeaway for the Tigers. Courtney Brown's day continues to get better. He just tipped that Renner pass that was intercepted by Darius Robinson. So he has a pass breakup, 3 quarterback pressures, and 2 touchdowns on defense. Flag down here on 1st down as they run DJ Howard. There's a new quarterback in the game for Clemson. It is true freshman Cole Stout, whose father Cliff played in the NFL.
Out of Dublin.
Offside. Defense, number 9, 5 yards, still 1st down.
Dublin Kaufman High School in Columbus, playing the Upper Arlington Golden Bears next week, Dave. Big matchup.
Noah Spielman will be all fired up for that one.
Yeah. Or bounce back from a
tough loss.
Elbow injury.
Yeah.
He's a Spielman. Just give him some tough pills, throw him back out there. Exactly. Be fine.
Tape an aspirin to it. He'll be all right.
His sister said she would have never came out of that game. No way, she said.
That is the shocking comment of the day. His older sister giving him grief for not going back in with a chipped elbow. Here's Howard, and he's close to a 1st down. Here's Reese Davis, who'll play through any kind of pain. Reese.
All right, Dave, coming up in just a little bit, Tevin Washington, who's really struggled the last 2 games passing, less than 30%. Yellow Jackets taking on the U in just over half an hour.
Here is 59-24. Georgia Tech. Reese will be the team that Clemson plays next week in Atlanta. Another run play for Howard. Don't forget, too, they got Wake Forest coming up here. Early in the year, that looked like an easy game, but Wake is having a good year.
You know, Chris, I want to talk about this for a second. Cole Stout's the backup quarterback. How do you stop Clemson? Have a backup quarterback that's not ready to play. So I'm not sure I'd agree with Chad right here. The offense coordinator, I'd let him play a little bit. You have to get this guy some reps. Any chance you get to get game reps for your backup quarterback, you have to do that, especially if you're going to make a run at a championship.
You don't play by running the offense and throwing the ball.
Absolutely.
3rd down and short. And Bellamy is going to get taken down short of the marker. Lost the ball, too. They're going to. Yep, he did. He lost it, and it was recovered by North Carolina. So the Tar Heels come up with a fumble recovery. Fabi Desir was there for the Tar Heels.
If you're running inside, especially short yardage, 2 hands on the football. It just looked like he dropped it. Nobody really stripped it.
But Desir was right there to get the fumble recovery. Now, let me ask you, let's go back to your previous point about stopping Clemson. is the offense the same with Cole Stout in the game? Is he the same type of quarterback that Taj Boyd is? Can he run that offense?
That's something they better find. You can't find out in practice. You need to find out in the game. I'm not saying come throw it all over the field, but still try to get the playmaker. You have enough playmakers, backup playmakers. Get them the ball. Let him try to operate the Clemson offense.
Braden Hansen is in the game at quarterback for North Carolina. He'll hand it off to Houston. He takes it to around the 1-yard line. Hansen is a junior from Charlotte who's played now in 5 games, only 6 career attempts. And Renner had a rough day. 3 interceptions. Second down and goal for North Carolina at the 2-yard line. Here's Houston. And Ryan Houston to the goal line and in. Touchdown, North Carolina.
Not a lot of celebration on that Tar Heel bench. You can understand why. I mean, they got beat, but I think the one thing you got to celebrate the small victories. Then a coach should be there getting them going, because you're trying to send a message that we're not going to quit. Hey, we just scored a touchdown. You got to sell it. I know it's unlikely. We could get a turnover. We're back in this thing. That's a hard sell. I get it. But still, that's what you got to sell.
He's smiling. Irvin is. He's been there. Not in the last several years, but maybe at Bowling Green back in the day in your first year. 4-possession game, Chris.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Cars.com, where confidence comes standard, and in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
All Clemson. 59-31 Tigers midway through the 4th quarter as Taj Boyd has had a brilliant day. 367 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing score. North Carolina just got a touchdown, electing to kick it deep here. And Bryant is the deep man at the 15-yard line for Clemson. And dragged down from behind at the 21. So we'll get another look at Cole Stout, the backup Clemson quarterback, in a moment. Heisman hopefuls take center stage tonight on the ESPN networks at 7:15. It's Trent Richardson and Alabama on ESPN2 taking on Tennessee. On ESPN at 8, Russell Wilson and Wisconsin facing Michigan State, and Kirk Cousins beat Michigan last week. Spartans have 1 loss. That was against Notre Dame this year. Run play on first down. Mike Bellamy powers through some arm tackle attempts and out to the 27 for 5 yards.
And a very good defense, by the way. I believe number 2 in the country.
That was McDowell, excuse me, Chris, on the carry for Clemson.
Michigan State's defense well coached by Mark D'Antonio and Pat Narduzzi.
Well, here they're letting the quarterback operate a little bit out of the shotgun.
Stout will hand it off to McDowell again, and he's got the first down and run out of play at the 39-yard line. Gain of 12.
Coaching point would be to get down in bounds. Just little things. I know it doesn't matter now, but again, you always coach, always remind your players of details.
You know, you just look at the Auburn offense and the difference from one quarterback to the other makes. You look at Indianapolis Colts from obviously maybe one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. That's why getting your backup as ready as you go. You want to start using that C word, championships. You got to make sure your backup quarterback can compete.
Incompletion there. Marquand Jones, they're trying to get him on a little wide receiver screen. What about next week? Georgia Tech, obviously an offense that's very different. The only other team like Georgia Tech is Wofford that Clemson played this year.
That helped them. I mean, it really does, because you've already practiced for that. And when you defend the triple option, it's all about assignments. Somebody's got to dive. You have to stay on a dive. Somebody has a quarterback, somebody has a pitch. You just have to trust your training and trust your teammates.
McDowell wrapped up and thrown down on 2nd and 10, no gain.
I wouldn't be surprised, Dave, if they put Wofford on a schedule for Georgia Tech for that purpose, to get 2 of those games in. That's a huge benefit for a team.
Playing the wishbone, it's a unique offense, and I agree with you. I bet they did do that. Whenever we played a wishbone team coming up, you'd always take a section of spring practice and say we're going to work on the wishbone. You would take a day during training camp and say we're going to work on the wishbone. And Clemson's going to play Georgia Tech every year.
Here's Jones, and he's out to the 45, but short of the first down. It's 4th down. And how did you handle that with your players when you were playing that type, or any offense that's different than what you're normally used to seeing?
Well, it's all about repetition. If you see it coming down the pipe during the season, you take other times other than a Tuesday and Wednesday you have during a practice week. That's why spring practice and training camp, if you can squeeze some time in to go through how to defend that unique offense, you have to take that time. It's all about the players getting used to and comfortable that style of offense.
So you're a little stressed out those weeks, huh? Zimmerman's punt.
You think? Get some claw marks in your arms, Ruben?
And it's picked up. Picked up by a Tar Heel and then tackled immediately. Charles Brown decided to pick up the football there. Back in a moment. Clemson, for the 2nd straight game, scores over 50. 56 last week, 59 this week. It was a 7-point game at the half. It's now 59-31. 35 points in the 3rd quarter for Clemson here at home. Run play. It's Houston out across the 20, and looks like he's got a first down. You look at North Carolina, record of 5-3 now and 1-3 in the ACC. We talked about for Everett Withers, the interim head coach, a difficult situation taking over for Butch Davis very late when Davis was let go, and self-imposed penalties by North Carolina, including the vacating of wins and future scholarship losses. Their hearing is October 28th on those charges of 9 major allegations. They could uphold them, they could extend them. There's no bowl ban right now, but that is something that could be included as Houston is out to the 28-yard line. And this is a program that obviously can recruit. They've got good players here. You look at their history. They've had a lot of talent come out of here. And what's it going to take to turn it around?
Chris and I were talking about this. You talk about one of the beautiful campuses of America, one of the high-end academic institutions in the country. To think that they're not at least a mention for a BCS Bowl every couple years, they should be. And they have quality football players there. Matt Brown obviously did a great job when he was head coach there. That's the kind of school that you would think and would expect to make a run at a BCS Bowl every 2-3 years.
Houston is tagged by Courtney Brown, who's played the game of his life. Well, remember last year, I mean, a lot of people thought they were a contender, not just for the ACC, but for the national title until all those guys got suspended.
Well, they were a contender in my eyes. You're talking about 5 guys drafted off that defense in the NFL draft, not to mention Greg Little off of the offense. And to me, what's it going to take, you ask? I think it's going to take 9 victories to get a serious interview. Then you have to keep showing improvement. And are you better off than when you started? And right now they're taking a step backward, and now it's Everett's job to show that he's capable of bringing a team back after they've gotten blown out.
Hansen, and that pass is incomplete. Let's go to Reese in the studio.
All right, Dave, SportsCenter right now presented by Discover Card. Rams quarterback Sam Bradford not going to play against the Cowboys on Sunday. He's got one of those high ankle sprains, just been on the left side. Notoriously slow to heal. That means A.J. Feely, the former Oregon star, will start for the Rams. Current Oregon star Darren Thomas is in uniform and warming up for Oregon against Colorado.
Now that's another team. And I know they got a loss, but it was against LSU. If Oregon runs the table, could make things interesting come decision time. That's a great thing about the college football regular season. Say what you want about whether you like the BCS. It makes September until interesting every single football game.
You know, Billy Donovan's my great friend and neighbor, and he made a comment to me one time about, boy, March Madness is something else. And I said, Billy, we lived March Madness for 6 years. I mean, every game, it's basically you're in a tournament every game if you want to make a run at the big prize.
And think now you have the championship games in the Pac-12 and the Big Ten, so that just adds to it.
Yeah, championship games are great for fans. It's actually great for the conference. It's one of the coach's worst nightmare when you make it through the season. You think you have a championship, and then you have to go play a great team in the championship game. It is great for college football, though.
Hansen looking downfield, and the pass is on the money. Inside the 20-yard line is T.J. Thorpe, and finally wrapped up around the 12. Good throw by junior quarterback Braden Hansen.
Good for them. Again, calling plays to show your team you're not quitting, and Thorpe with a little shake in and out route, showing that he's capable of more just returning kicks. The true freshman, T.J. Thorpe.
Had a kickoff return for a touchdown earlier in this game. And Houston straight ahead, and he's going to score a touchdown. North Carolina, Ryan Houston. And we were talking earlier, guys, about if you're Dabo Swinney handling the talk of BCS championship, isn't it easy for him to say, look, we haven't even won an ACC championship here in 20 years. We've only played for one ACC championship. That was 2 years ago, and they lost.
Is it easy for them?
I mean, does it make it easier because they haven't been there?
No, because you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old young athletes that you can control for 4 hours a day, and that's it. You can't control what uncles are doing. You can't control what fans are doing. You can't control what's going on Main Street in Clemson. You can't control that stuff. You can control those 4 hours a day. That's where you need the leadership. You need Taj Boyd and the big-time players to really stand up and be leaders on the team if you really want to make a run. And to make a run, you better worry about Georgia Tech and nothing else.
You were in the Big Ten title mix every year you played. So how did you as a leader of your team handle it? Because I'm sure you had guys that were looking ahead, right?
Well, in order to lead, you got to produce. And their producers are good guys. You look at Taj Boyd. We have a chance to spend time with him. He's a good guy that puts team first. One of their leaders, and even though he doesn't want to be, but he leads by example, is Sammy Watkins. And so when these guys behave and make the good decisions and right choices, the other guys don't want to screw it up. It's a lot more difficult if the leaders and producers on your team are knuckleheads. Then you're in trouble. Then you're waiting to explode from within. The leaders on this team, at least from what we've known from doing the game twice down here, they're good guys with good decision makers off the field.
Here's Peak fielding the kick around the 2-yard line. It's upended, and a penalty flag comes down.
During the return, locking it back, number 31, be half the distance, first down.
The chase heads to NASCAR's biggest wild card, Talladega, where points leader Carl Edwards will try to hold back a surging Kyle Busch, and Jimmy Johnson will look to bounce back from last week's setback. The chase continues at Talladega Sunday, 1 Eastern on ESPN. Tonight on ESPN, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Alabama's in action on the ESPN networks. You got Stanford, Oklahoma, some terrific teams and terrific players on display tonight.
Stanford plays good defense.
Here's DJ Howard, who gets to the 9-yard line.
I believe Wisconsin, Dave, that Wisconsin's the only team that has a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. Now, granted, Wisconsin hasn't been tested the way it's going to get tested tonight, especially on the road.
We thought that the Oregon State game going into the season would be a tougher game for them. They blew out Oregon State. A lot of people thought Nebraska would give them a tough game. They blew out Nebraska. And maybe Nebraska is just not that good, but Nebraska with a nice comeback win against Ohio State a few weeks ago. I assume both of you agree with me then.
Well, you speak wisdom.
And trying to get out of a tackle is Howard, and he gets positive yardage, a gain of about a yard.
Well, Nebraska's okay. I mean, they're struggling with the black shirts. The black shirts are struggling for Nebraska, and Bo, I'm sure, will keep continuing.
Are they better than Michigan State? I mean,
who, Nebraska?
Yeah.
No, I think Michigan State's the clear-cut second-best team in the Big Ten. They have the #1 defense in the Big Ten. They have a fifth-year quarterback that can throw the football. They have a running back in a running game. and they play hard, and they have corners that can cover, so they can put pressure on tonight on Wisconsin and put 8 and 9 in the box and trust their corners to make plays for them. That's what they're going to do.
And they play at Nebraska next week, so we're going to find out if they're the second best team in the Big Ten, or maybe the best team in the Big Ten, depending on what happens tonight against Wisconsin.
Well, just on paper, when we make an evaluation, you got to say Wisconsin.
Just saying, if they beat Wisconsin, though, all of a sudden they jump into that discussion.
They are the best in the Big Ten.
Clemson 8-0, first time since 2000. That year, their next game was against Georgia Tech, and they lost. They're 8-0 this year. Their next game against Georgia Tech on the road next week. They'll celebrate this one, though. Taj Boyd had an unbelievable game. 5 touchdown passes, a rushing touchdown, as Clemson rolls 59-38 over North Carolina. College football presented by Cars.com coming up next. For Chris Spielman, Urban Meyer, Quint Kesnick, our entire crew, I'm Dave Pasch. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now to Reese Davis in our ESPN studio.